Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. Shout out to Hollow Ninja 10. Shout out to Elaine Lloyd. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes. I sent out the link to a couple of people. I also gave Lashid4U my email address, so hopefully she will tune in as well and join the panel. As soon as I hear from her, I will email her the link to this hangout. So hopefully I'll hear from her soon, and hopefully the other people that I emailed the link to will be able to join. If you are interested in joining this panel discussion, let me know. Post your email address in the chat room, or you can email me directly at newpossibilitiesblog@yahoo.com, and I will send you the link to this hangout. So this hangout will mainly be an open discussion about the topics that I raised in the last hangout that I just did a few minutes ago. So again, shout out to Elaine Lloyd, shout out to Hollow Ninja, shout out to Bonafide 1970, shout out to Evans, shout out to my man Hollow Ninja 10. Thanks for tuning in. So I'm going to wait a couple of minutes for people to join. You can let me know if you're interested in joining the hangout now, and I will go ahead and send you the link. I would post it in the chat room if I didn't have to deal with trolls. But unfortunately, you know, trolls have come to my channel before and disrupted the discussion. So I won't have any of that anymore. So just bear with me 1 second. Okay, we'll get started in 1 second. I'm just going to give people time to join. I know that Concrete Rose expressed interest in joining this panel. If you're watching right now, I sent you the link. Also, Gab Talk Television or TV expressed interest in joining as well. I sent him the link. And there was one other sister that I sent the link to. So I hope that you all can join the hangout. Let me just move this chat around. And I sent, I think it was Sheila. I sent you the link, even though I'm not that familiar with your channel. I hope that you can join as well. Hopefully you're not a troll. Fingers crossed on that one, because I think this is your first time. Well, now this is your second time actually joining one of my hangouts. So yeah, I sent out the link to a couple of people, so hopefully they'll join in a second. Hopefully these kids outside of my window aren't too noisy. They're playing basketballs, but hopefully I won't distract people. So we will get right into it in a second. For those of you who are just tuning in and you didn't watch the last live stream, or you didn't watch my interview with Obsidian, I'm just going to provide like a brief overview of what we're going to be talking about. So the other day I did an interview with the brother Obsidian, and we were talking about this whole Pookie and Ray Ray situation. Who is Pookie and Ray Ray? Like, what is his issue with them? And like, why is this something he talks about regularly? And so he went into it. He talked about his proposed Pookie and Ray Ray compromise, which basically is a situation where he will stop complaining about black women choosing to be with Pookie and Ray Ray if black women would stop complaining about black men not providing and protecting and all that kind of stuff. So that was his compromise. That was his proposal. And, you know, throughout the discussion, we talked about personal responsibility, talking about women making poor decisions. You know, I raised the point about like shaming of women to be with so-called cornballs and lames. We also touched on his sense of entitlement to certain women. I talked about hypocrisy in terms of judging women primarily based on how they look instead of based on, you know, other factors and stuff like that. And him basically saying that women do the same thing. And, you know, we talked about that. We talked about, you know, the issue of blaming black women for all the problems in the black community. We talked about you know, the issue of racism and why many of the people in the Manosphere don't focus on racism, don't address racism, but yet and still they have all this energy and fight when it comes to issues involving Black women. We also talked about, you know, the whole thing about the obligation to defend and protect Black women. You know, we talked about whether or not we have any obligation to Black women. And basically he was talking about how you don't have any obligation to defend a woman that you're not in a relationship with or a woman that you're not related to. And we debated that briefly. You know, I didn't go into much detail, and I discussed that in the last live stream that I just did. I went into more detail. We also addressed the issue of whether or not the community can advance without the Black woman. And he basically took the position that the Black woman is replaceable. The Black woman can be replaced by the white woman or some other non-Black woman. So those are some of the topics that we talked about in the last live stream, and then we talked about doing the interview with Obsidian. And also during my last live stream, I noticed that quite a few people were talking about this issue of Black men being able to express their viewpoints in the media. And we talked about how the media was used to attack Black men. People cited the example of Oprah Winfrey, and they cited all these other talk shows to basically raise the point that the media has been used to bash Black men. And you had Lashid4U, for instance, push back against that and basically say, well, you know, that's not necessarily the case. And I would really be interested in hearing her perspective on this. Hopefully she will be able to join. There was some back and forth between her and some of the other YouTubers in the chat room. I noticed Psycho was making some points about this. So hopefully he's able to join. If he's able, I will send him the link as well so that we can have this discussion. Let me just refresh my emails just to see if anyone else has tried to contact me. Again, if you are interested in joining this live stream, feel free to post your email address in the chat room, or you can email me directly at newpossibilitiesblog@yahoo.com to join the hangout. Okay, and that's Kavina Man said I would not be a community eunuch. And that's the point that Obsidian kept making. He kept saying, like, you know how people want these community eunuchs, but they don't want to be with these community eunuchs. Basically, they want Black men to protect the Black community, but these same Black men they label as cornballs and educated lames and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I understand these brothers' frustration. I can't pretend like I don't know their frustration, because it's like you wonder, like, why in the world would some woman constantly choose womanizers? Like they complain about when men womanizing, but yet they keep picking men that womanize. They complain about men not being sensitive and men being trifling, but they keep picking men that are trifling and insensitive. So I get his frustration, you know, and I understand, like, these guys, and part of it is hateration too, man. They see Pookie and Ray Ray having all these women on their team and stuff like that, and they like, why can't I be like Pookie and Ray Ray? So they hate on Pookie and Ray Ray because of that, because they seem to be getting more attention than the cornball or the educated lame. And, you know, I talked about this before in one of my videos. You know, I don't think that education should be equated with being lame. You know, I think that that's that reflects like a messed up, dysfunctional attitude when you view being educated or intelligent as being lame. And, you know, the bottom line is there's some guys that are educated that are lame, and there's some guys that are educated that are not lame. So it's like, why place that label on a guy that happens to have an education? So if you, again, are interested in joining this hangout, please let me know and I will send you the link. You know, then again, Concrete Rose, I sent you the link, so hopefully you can join. Oh, Sheila, I sent you the link. So if you want to join, hop on here. Gab Talk TV, I sent you the link as well. Let me just check my emails real quick. Yeah, so the email will have my name, but it has my email address as well. It says New Possibilities Blog at Yahoo. And the subject title is New Possibility Live Stream. So those people that are looking through their emails now, that's how you can get the information. Yeah, so Lashid, again, I sent you the link. Well, I didn't send you the link. I told you my email address. So if you want to join, just email me and I'll send you the link. But while I'm on, I'll just make a couple of announcements as well. Like for those people who are in Baltimore, Maryland, I want to remind you all that I have an art show that's coming up. It's going to be on June 8th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's going to be located at 1818 North Charles Street in Baltimore, Maryland, at the Montego Bar and Grill. So I hope that you all can join. You'll get a chance to see my artwork and also get a chance to just chop it up with me and chill. Just meet me in person and everything, and we can build and stuff like that. Also, I want to let people know that I have started my book club. I haven't created a page officially for it, but I encourage you all to follow my page on my general New Possibilities page on Facebook. I will be sending out posting an invitation to the book review. So it's going to be a book discussion. For people that are out of town, you will be able to join by video. I'll set it up so we can have a video conference type of discussion. Like probably it'll probably be on a Google Hangout or on Facebook Live or something like that. I see that Gab Talk Media is here. Shout out to you. Thanks for joining the Hangout. We'll get started in a second. I just want to make a couple of preliminary announcements to people. So I'm going to have that book club. The first book that we will be discussing will be Kindred by Octavia Butler. I've started reading it on my flight to and from Vegas. I hope to finish it. I want to try to finish it before Ramadan. So I want to try to finish it before, early May. So hopefully I'll finish it ahead of time, and then we could have the meeting or discussion sometime in mid-June. So I hope that you all can join for that. Again, I want to remind people that I sent out the link. I sent the link to Concrete Rose. Hopefully she'll be able to join. And Lashid4U, if you are interested in joining, please let me know. I can email you the link as well. I know you want to keep your information private. So I see that we had a brother, Gab Talk Media on. So I want to get right into it. I want to see what you have to add to this discussion. You heard the hangout that I had not too long ago, a few minutes ago. And you also, I'm sure, saw the interview that I did with Obsidian. So what points did you want to raise right now, Gab Talk?
Hey, making sure you can hear me. I'm on the road. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Yeah. You raised what was interesting about your position was that when I first heard about the Manosphere, is pretty still pretty new to me. Like maybe 6 months or so.
Oh, 6 months ago? Okay.
And I have raised.
Oh, you're breaking up a
Yeah,
little
for me
bit.
it's about 6 months. I'm 6 months into it, but when I first started, shit. Okay. All right.
No, I can hear you
Am I
fine
still
right now.
messed up? Okay. I'm gonna stabilize in a second.
Okay.
But I was saying that maybe 6 months ago, I raised the same questions. and
Oh, there's a problem with your connection. You keep breaking up.
and
Can you hear
over
me?
time, I saw what it is that the Manosphere was trying to push without.
Are you able to hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, your connection is.
I'll wait.
Yeah, your connection is bad. So maybe if you come out and then come back in, maybe that'll help correct the problem. Maybe if you exit the hangout and then hop back in, that may correct the issues you're having.
Yes, I'll wait. Can you? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so hopefully the brother will be able to join and we can hear him and everything. Again, I sent out the link to Concrete Rose and his other sister, Oh Sheila. Come on, join. You all wanted to hear this discussion or participate. Hopefully you can join and chop it up with me. Let's see. Hold on one second. So yeah, I'm gonna. Hopefully he can. I hear him better now. All right, Gab, talk. Can you hear me?
Let's try it again.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
now?
hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Nope, still can't
I hear you.
hear me.
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Still okay. You still can't hear me. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try and park for a second. Yes.
Okay, there's like a delay, I guess, and you receive and hear my voice.
Is there
Yeah,
a
I think
delay?
there's a delay on your end. Because are you watching this while you are streaming on it? Yeah,
I'll call
hopefully
back.
it'll work.
I'll call back.
Okay. Okay, so hopefully the brother will be able to join and we'll be able to have a discussion. But in the meantime, I'll look at your comments. Yeah, so Elaine Lloyd said that these men like Obsidian don't have game, and when they speak to women, no confidence. Unlike the Pookies and Ray Rays. And they only have confidence to talk down and shame women. Yeah, I think that's a bad situation. Obviously, like these guys are all outspoken when it comes to
It's a delay. Yes, there's a
Okay,
delay.
so are you watching it on YouTube? Are you watching it on YouTube, or are you just linked in on your Google Hangout?
I'm not. Yeah, only my Hangout app is open.
Oh, okay, so that should work. All right, so
that
let's just try. I hear you fine right now. So what did you want to say? You were talking about the Manosphere and how you weren't familiar with them until like 6 months ago. So can you go into it a little bit more?
Yes. 6 months ago, I had the same positions that you carry, almost exactly. I still carry those positions, but my understanding of the Manosphere has grown. What I found out about them is that they unapologetically push certain, I don't say narratives, certain aspects of the Black community that needs to be addressed with respect to females, and they want to focus on the males. And it's almost as if they don't even want the females involved in certain parts of it. And so they go hard about it. And the reason that they're going hard about it is because the methods that the pro-black community has been using, they don't feel has been effective enough due to the fact that it hasn't been firm enough. And so this is their approach. And what I found personally is that it halted me to make me personally think about the reality of that position. And they have, and then so I said, you know what, let me see where this goes and let's continue to talk. And what I found is that in certain spaces of the manosphere, because they're not a monolith either, there's no, main manifesto. They have different positions with respect to how they address the Black community, how they address women of our community, how they address other communities. There are different pockets and different understandings and approaches. So they're not one thing. So we got to be careful when we even say manosphere. They're not one thing. I thought it was all kind of some unified thing that didn't care too much about the pro-black stuff. And many of them will tell you, such as O'Shea, O'Shea Duke Jackson, said that when they first started, they didn't want to have anything to do with the pro-black sector. It's just recently that they started to involve, to have more conversations with us. And so we're at the beginning of what I think is a budding relationship. And I'm starting to see through the steel. I think steel is sharpening steel a little bit. And so that's where I am now. I'm still in an observatory phase. And so now that I see you pulling up, I'm like, brothers is asking the same questions. One of the first persons I interviewed from the Manosphere was Obsidian. And so it's interesting that that's where you pulled up first. And it's probably because Obsidian's approach is to be absurd about the things that he wants to address. He's doing it very, very intentionally. And but he's no fool by a long shot. And I think you see that, but there's still some things in terms of the meat of what he puts out on a day-to-day basis that I believe are definitely not going to be well received. So that's where I am now, man. Anything specific you want to ask me, I'm here.
So what did you think about the interview? What did you think about the things that he had to say during the interview?
I saw, I think what it was, an hour. I saw about a half, and I saw half of it. Give me specifically what you wanted to address. I thought, number one, it was a great interview. I think to me, it sounded like a repeat of the things I had to address them about. And I like your, your impartiality. You're trying to understand. I can appreciate that approach, man. That's the way I try to approach my conversations. You're making it a conversation. That's what I appreciate.
So what did you think about his statement with respect to this issue of shaming Black women? Basically he said that women should be shamed for being with Pookie and Ray Ray. They should be shamed into dating people like him. What do you think about that tactic? And on the other hand, you have, like, for instance, the brother Robert Perkins, who basically said that these cornballs and lames are trying to shame women into being with them. And basically he was pointing out how that's not an effective strategy. And, I talked about how basically it makes people look weak and pathetic when they feel like they have to shame someone to be with them and stuff. I said, and I basically compared that to a situation where, for instance, if a woman rejects a guy on the street, like if a guy is like making cat calls, or a guy tries to holler at a woman on the street and she's like, rejects him, then he calls her all kinds of bees and hoes and all that kind of stuff. So what's your response to that whole issue, like whether or not it's appropriate to shame Black women for being with Pookie and Ray Ray?
I'm interested to see what future effects it will have on our community if you reinstitutionalize a certain amount of shame. And for number one, shame, I don't, shaming grown folks sounds outdated, But I say, okay, if we don't institutionalize, I do feel like people should feel responsible for making bad decisions. So it's not so much that I think you should run around shaming folks on a daily basis. However, how do you create a sense of accountability for making better decisions with regard, even down to who you choose as a mate? At first, I was saying that we should stay out of that, but listen to what we're saying when we say we need to stay out of folks' personal business, right? If you're going to create, even from a pro-Black perspective, there's a certain amount of education there, there's a certain amount of disciplines that you want to institutionalize in the community. And since you don't have many, you're not in a position of power necessarily, meaning control over enough resources that will kind of reinforce your message. What else do you have as a tactic? And because I can't necessarily answer that question fully. I'm not going to push against a tactic. It's a tactic, and what I see is that over time, if people start to feel a little guilty because they know these discussions are going on, they will look more into what it is that they're doing. Now, in terms of making women feel bad, because you might be a little bit corny, you know, because this has to be defined a little more. Um, People are going to be interested in who they are going to be interested in. However, there is a responsibility if you're going to build a life with this person. You want to make sure that this person is covering the bases and ideals that you think are important. And so Obsidian's position is simply that. And once you find out this person, or if you didn't choose this person basis on what you thought was good for yourself, for the future and for the future of the community, then he's saying, then don't call on us now. And now, when I say us, it's not necessarily me, but just don't call on the brothers who would be more responsible at the later date. Do it now. So what he's doing is creating a place that gets in front of it, and he's doing it in a way that he's not going to move, not even a little bit. He's going to insult you. He's making it so obnoxious or absurd that you'll be forced to think about it. And for those who would listen, and what I've been doing is actually, okay, let me actually listen. Let me see what's going on. Now, there's some shit that I don't do it. I'm not into the women up bitches talk, and I got concerns sometimes that, yeah, some people act like bitches sometimes, even the men. But but I'm not into the damn insults, man. That's not a part of my tactic. It can be entertaining at times to listen to some of this stuff, but I say don't overdose on it. And what I fear is that some of the young people are actually overdosing on this Manosphere talk.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I wanted to make a couple of points about what you were saying. Like, I don't have any problem with people being held accountable. Like, if somebody makes a bad decision, they decide to be with a certain type of person, there's certain consequences to that. And, they're responsible for those consequences. But at the same time, I'm not one to say, well, because you made that decision, then I'm not going to be involved in the community. I'm not going to serve as a mentor, or I'm not going to try to rebuild the community or take care of the community because of somebody's personal relationship choices. I think that is irresponsible, and it's just not what manhood looks like. I think that we have a responsibility to our community, regardless if we're in a relationship with this woman or that woman and stuff like that. I think we still have a larger responsibility to our community. We need to have like a village mentality instead of every man go for themselves type of mentality. And I think that unfortunately, that's the kind of mentality that people like Obsidian have. They have an every man for themselves mentality. And he actually jokes about the community, talking about community and, you know, calls people park apes and stuff like that. And the other thing is, I don't think that that's an effective strategy to shame people. Like nobody, no woman is listening to Obsidian and saying, well, oh, Obsidian said that, so let me stop dating Pookie and Ray Ray. I mean, there's no example of some, you know, some large number of women listening to him and deciding, okay, I'm going to stop dating Pookie and Ray Ray and stuff.
Well,
so, you know, I don't think that that's, you know, shaming people, you know, clowning people, it makes for good entertainment. It's very entertaining. You know, hearing him say Shazam and, you know, and all that other foolishness, and black female fuckery and all that.
Yeah.
Man, but it's not, at the end of the day, it's not moving the needle. At the end of the day, it's not reducing so-called out of birth, you know, out of wedlock births and all that kind of stuff. Pookie is still getting the women, you know, so it's like, what is he accomplishing other than creating a dialogue, which is productive in a sense, you know, depending on what kind of dialogue is created. I mean, it is,
well,
you know.
Well, here's one of them. One of them is right here.
Yeah, I mean, this is something, because we are talking about this because of something that he helped start. Like, he's recently been talking about this Pookie and Ray Ray thing, and it's got a lot of people talking, which is good. But that in and of itself doesn't move anything forward.
Well, how do you measure it? I'm not sure. Like, I don't know how to measure this. I just see an audience of about, I don't know, regularly, you know, between 500 and 700, or, you know, people regularly listening to them. And if you do any math, according to how they do it, they say that 700 represents some percentage or exponent of that 700. So it's reaching some folks, whether it's men or women. Those men that are listening will begin these conversations and attitudes within their own sphere of influence. And so will the women begin to talk about this particular mindset that may be seeming to grow, because a lot of what he does on his channel is representative of quite a bit of the manosphere. A lot of them don't agree with his approach, but they have other approaches that address the same thing, and they will consider it black female fuckery. And what I'm saying is, for this is his niche. He's just like one guy, just like you and I. We would approach our fixes of the community, and he doesn't consider himself trying to really fix the community either. However, he is addressing something that may be considered broken. It's being done in a way that is weird, because it does look like he's trying to force women to be attracted to what he considers better men. I think that's a good discussion to have. But it does come across, like when I first heard it, it did come across a little corny. But when you go on the other side and you see women who are choosing men who are not necessarily responsible, and I don't use Rob Perkins as the poster child for that either, like many people are doing. I don't know that brother. I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know the circumstances under which his life has come to be, whatever it is. So I don't use him. Cynthia G is a personality that people like to use, and she's very visible for stuff, and I know they're using her, but I'm not stuck on these personalities. Hers is polarized, and I'll say that. So, you know, I'm not for or against whether they use it or not. She's out here. It doesn't seem to bother her that much. So, you know, they use her as a thing. I think Rob is catching some residual effects of what kind of atmosphere she's created amongst men. So I don't know, man. I think I'm not sure how you're measuring the, whether or not it's being effective. I don't know how. He said he started the conversation 4 years ago, and I wasn't there to watch it go from 0 to 700. So he may argue whether with you as to whether or not it's having some effect. I'm saying it is because I'm interested in the conversation such as this one.
Yeah, now he said, I mean, when I asked him about that, I asked him directly about this issue, and he basically said, well, he acknowledged that it's not changing the way these women think. Like for years, you got these guys on here bashing black women, saying this and that about black women, but overall, it hasn't changed the so-called behaviors that they're complaining about, the so-called dysfunctional behaviors they're complaining about. He acknowledged that the only thing that's really being accomplished is a dialogue, which is good. It's good to start a dialogue, but I don't think that shaming somebody is the best way to win them over. That's not how you win. Like if I'm trying to be with a woman, me shaming her and telling her like, she shouldn't be with X, Y, and Z guys. She needs to be with me. That's not a good way to approach a woman. That's not, that's lame.
Debatable. That's debatable, bro.
That's like the guy who like player hates on another guy saying, well, why you with him? He's talking to this one and that one. That's not how you win over a woman, man. And I don't think that those guys earn any kind of respect. And that epitomizes that label of lame and cornball.
Okay.
But I get his frustration, man. I understand that. So what about this? Like, what about his hypocrisy, though? Let me ask you about that. Like the fact that he said, he basically said, well, when he was complaining about black women placing such a high priority on looks over other things, but yet and still, he places a high priority on a woman's looks. Like that's his top priority when it comes to picking a woman to be with. What do you think about that hypocrisy there?
I think is exactly what you said. It points out a hypocrisy. For that, I will refer to whatever his answers were. I think it's a clear hypocrisy there. I don't know where else to take it. I just pointed out as a hypocrisy. It doesn't dead the entire discussion for me, though.
New Possibilities blog at yahoo.com to join this discussion. And, Concrete Rose, I sent you the link as well so that you can join. Oh, I see Elaine is here. Thanks for tuning in. So let's hear from Elaine Lloyd. What do you have to add to the discussion?
Okay. What I just wanted to point out from the discussion last week too, is that this is a relationship issue and a parenting issue that men are not taking responsibility for, because these women who go out and choose these pookies or whatever, they watch their mom raise them without a father and didn't know how to choose. So they don't know how to choose. Like, I talk to women who are my friends who don't know when they see a Pookie and Ray Ray coming a mile away. And the reason I know that is because of my father, who told me, so that I can see through it. And these men are like, I'm not taking responsibility for this, but they don't teach their daughters how to choose. And
so what kind of things did your father tell you about these so-called Pookies and Ray Rays? Like, what kind of advice did he give you?
He told me, and my brother pointed it out when exactly it was happening. But when someone who's like a Pookie or a Ray Ray comes up to you and they're talking to you, they're saying nice stuff or maybe being funny or whatever, but they're not really giving you information about themselves. And someone who is really interested in getting to know you and maybe thinking that you could be with them for a long time, they want to share about themselves and also get to know you. But these Pookies and Ray Rays, they come up to you, and it's kind of like a politician speaking platitudes, but not telling you about their policies. That's what these Pookies and Ray Rays do. But women don't recognize that. I see even not people who I'm friends with. I see just out and about when a man is trying to talk to a woman, what's going on. And the woman doesn't know because no one told her. I can tell when a man comes up to you and is not saying anything, but talking. Or trying to be maybe secretive and you don't realize it. Because they have a lot of swag or shine or whatever. So you get distracted. And these men are blaming women, saying, have personal responsibility, when it's not like these dudes come up to you and say, hey, you want to have sex with me a few times and I'm going to cheat on you with a bunch of different hoes and then I'm going to wait till you get tired of it, then I'm going to probably leave you with a baby. They don't say that. They don't come up to you women and just ask to be a dog and women are like, that sounds great, sign me up. That doesn't happen. I'm saying it's all the women's fault. And these men like Obsidian who only got confidence to talk to women when they're talking down to them, that's not going to solve anything. There's no conversation. No one improves or listens to what you have to say when you start off saying you're horrible, you suck, you don't do anything right. No one's going to listen to that.
Can I chime in real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. I think like she makes a very interesting point, and I think that sister, do you listen to Obsidian? Can I ask?
I've listened to him on other panels. Like I listen to him when he talks to other people. I don't go to his channel. I wouldn't go to channels like that. That, you know.
Yeah, no, I get it. When you listen to him, it sounds like you've come to an understanding of what he's saying just in a little bit that you've heard from him, because you've actually in your mind from what you just said that fathers are not doing what they should do for their daughters so that they could notice these kinds of men that may not be good for their futures. And I agree with you. But my point is that I think that because he's out here doing what he's doing, you actually formulated a thought now, unless it came from somewhere else. But I think this is a part of his strategy. I can't speak entirely for Obsidian. I've only been watching him probably not too much longer than y'all have, or y'all might have been watching longer. But it looks like this is the outcome, one of the outcomes that he wanted. I don't think this is an unintended outcome. I think it is a predicted outcome. I'm still studying this brother. I don't think he's going to let anybody in on this if it's an actual plan, a master plan of his or not. But because I think it will take off the sting of the portion of entertainment that he chooses to provide along with it. But if it produced that thought from you, I think would you guys say it's having some effect?
The way that I think, I've thought this just even before I even got into YouTube. But if you're saying, hey, this is his plan to get people to realize that it's not the father's, and he's trying to put himself as if he's trying to help women, why take the negative approach? Why not take the approach that like Angel or Derek Jackson? I think he gives relationship advice. Not take the nicer route.
The reason that they're saying that I've heard from the Manosphere as a whole is that that approach has not been effective enough, because black men have been trying to make black women queens for years, and it does not seem like that is being or taking hold in the community at a high enough rate. So they've began to approach this differently. I think it had an effect for the generations that came up with that, which I think probably impacted New Possibilities. Sounds like yourself, me, and others. But there's a remnant, and then there's a way of communicating that's out here that I was just really a little unfamiliar with. I'm up in age a little bit, so the way that these youngsters communicate is a lot different, and it sounds like more drastic measures has to be taken. And so I'm watching that. I'm not proposing that this is the solution, but I'm definitely observing it, and it has had some impact on the way that I look at all of this.
Hello to the panel. This is Concrete Rose. I just wanted to chime in real quick in reference to the point that you guys are discussing. I first want to say thank you to both New Possibilities and Gab, because I think that I'm in great company. Like, you guys, I think that, we need to point out the destruction in the Black community and the things that are leading us to an even more destructive path and or fracturing the community or getting the community to a state in which it won't be able to ever be repaired. But you guys do it in a respectful way. And to the point that you were just making, Gab, I understand that you guys were brought up in a time where maybe there was a higher level of consciousness, and maybe Black women were kind of let off the hook. And I agree with that. But there has to be a happy medium. You can't go from one extreme to another. So the answer isn't to now berate Black women and put everything on Black women while not, acknowledging the part that Black men play in an effort to combat, the 40-year history of Black men and or the greater community at broad not holding Black women accountable. There has to be a happy medium. I'm all for accountability, and I think that there's a lot of validity in the points that are made on Obsidian's panel, and that's why I keep throwing into the lion's den, because Obsidian's panel is kind of like a corn maze. If you can, get to the basis of what they're saying and kind of ignore some of the negative components of their speech and some of the, horrible things that are entangled into the rhetoric, you can kind of understand that there is a basis for what they're saying. They just don't say it in the most tactful way.
Thanks for joining, Concrete Rose. I'm glad you added your commentary. I see that Lashid4U is here as well. So, Lashid, was there something that you wanted to add to the discussion?
Hi. I will just, you know that I was back and forth in your stream in the chat room with with someone. So I'm just, hold on, I'm still trying to collect myself up in here. Yeah, you may have noticed that in your last stream when you were alerting us of your of this stream, I was kind of back and forth in the chat room with someone. But I'm going to just listen along. I'm going to add as everyone's speaking.
Can you talk about that a little bit, the back and forth that you were having with a couple of people in the chat room, because you all were talking about the role that the media has played in terms of bashing Black men and Black men not having a voice. And you had some people saying that there were all these talk shows like Oprah Winfrey and, Ricky Lake and all that kind of stuff that were bashing Black men. You had Psycho basically saying that they put out this message basically suggesting that most Black men are on the down low and all that kind of stuff. And I know that you did a video a while ago where you went through the Oprah Winfrey program and all the different shows that they had, the different episodes and the subjects that they had to make a particular point. Can you just talk about that a little bit? Like, what's your response to all that controversy?
Yeah, excuse me, I'm a little disoriented because I'm just still trying to organize with the chat and all that. Yeah, I had done a stream, and I've talked about this stuff over and over again, so I'm not going to load your, I'm not going to load this stream with all the information that I've gathered. Perhaps I'll put that together again in another upload or stream. But yeah, see, the problem that I have, I'd like for us to have this discussion. I just want us to bring facts and truth You know, not all facts. We know that not all facts presented is going to equate the truth, but at least bring some facts because you know. Okay, I believe that you're my age. Okay, I'm in my mid-40s. Okay, and I know that when I was younger, and even when I was a teen, we did not associate the word feminist with Black women. When you heard feminist, you were first thinking of white women. You were thinking of the Gloria Steinems. But with social media, in particular on the internet and YouTube, I've been there's been a lot of this rhetoric that Black women have joined forces with white women going back to the 1960s and 70s. And it is this is what led to the downfall of the Black family, along with a government assistance, the Food Stamp Act in 1964. Black women joined forces with the white daddy, whether he's at the welfare office or the white feminist, in breaking away from the Black man and separating from the Black man. And then there's also this talk of Black women have been in media publicly disrespecting and dissing and putting down Black men on talk shows, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like for instance, with Oprah Winfrey, you know, I don't give two issues about Oprah Winfrey. Okay, you know that. Okay, I've done videos exposing her even. But I remember the show. I'm from Chicago. And I remember when she was on AM Chicago. Okay, I remember before the show became nationally syndicated, when it was, you know, and I know because I used to watch these shows, you know, or my mother would watch these shows. They'd be on after the soap operas go off. And I honestly think that a lot of these men did not watch Oprah Winfrey's show. And a lot of the men who are believing this, like those in social media, they were too young to even remember these shows. They are listening to those such as these big personalities like the Tariq Nasheeds, and they have been telling them this. They've been going by what they've been seeing from the Obsidians and what they've been hearing from them. And so I went as far as showing some archives. Okay, I watched the show. I don't think these men really watched Oprah Winfrey like that. Okay, I've watched these shows. I've shown some archives to prove what I'm saying, that Black women were not on these shows bashing Black men as they are claiming. Now, I'm not saying this. I'm not trying to put down Black men. And then when I show examples showing the hypocrisy, like I talk about, well, at the same time Oprah Winfrey show came out, you also had rap songs with lyrics that were heavily dissing women. Now, a lot of Black women, and I was one of them, we didn't even take that as disrespecting specifically Black women. There were many of us, like myself, who, and I'm not proud to admit this, who had this mentality, well, they ain't talking about me, they talking about them. You know, there were a lot of us, sisters, we weren't tripping. We weren't taking this out necessarily on all Black men. Now, you had the Dolores C. Tucker, just as you had Kelvin Butts, who were against the gangster rap and the disrespect of women and all that. But what I just like to point out to brothers, and this is not me doing a tit for tat. I'm not doing any sort of tit for tat. I'm not blocking moderators. No, you just always get that message. No, somebody's saying I'm blocking moderators. No, I'm not blocking moderators. It's just a lot of times when I come into streams, it's saying someone who I have blocked is a moderator. And I have experience where, you know, there's been moderators who have been, you know, just in my stream blocking people. And so, you know, I'm just saying, because I was in a stream like Kevin Gill's, somebody else's stream, where I was blocked and I didn't even know it by moderator, and I don't know why. Yeah, it's just been some suspicious stuff. That's all. But I'm not trying to start no ish, and it's just I don't want that to happen again. But yeah, yeah, it's not about me trying to do any sort of tit for tat. You know, I'm just, as a Black woman, I have to defend Black women, especially if I feel the information presented is not true, or there's a misunderstanding, or there's exaggerations. And me defending Black women, it's not just defending Black women. You know that I've been known up in here for defending Black men, very much so. You know this. I have been called by certain sisters mammy mules. Most understand where I'm coming from. They know I'm not, you know, putting aside a sister's argument just to, you know, to please Black men. They know that. Most of them, so I usually don't get that, but I have been referred to as a mammy mule. You know what I'm saying? I have been referred to, put in that category. And the next day I'll be an angry black feminist. But I am going to defend black women as a black woman. And there's going to be a somewhat bias, because we all have a bias, despite our intentions to a degree.
True.
Right. I can relate. Like, I understand with certain brothers. There was a brother up in here, Dan Freeman. I understand a lot of his, first, I kind of was against him. But then I realized a lot of what he's saying is locker room talk amongst the brothers. I understand there are frustrated black men, just like there are frustrated black women. And when I'm defending black women, it has to be understood that I'm also defending black relationships. And I think that that's what a lot of people don't understand.
Good
I
point.
see the brother Hollow Point has joined. So Hollow Point, did you have something that you wanted to add as well?
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Yeah, I just woke up and heard about this subject. Yeah, I just think that the whole thing about the Pookie and Ray Ray thing is like, it's just old right now. Women are going to be attracted to whoever they want to be attracted to. And I think that people try to play savior to the black community is just outdated. Like, your college degrees and all that shit, that ain't going to make a girl's panties wet. And niggas need to get over that shit. Like, well, if a woman's attracted to you, she's going to show interest to you. So if the Pookies and Ray Rays are pulling these women that these other black men can't get, that says something about the black men. That says something about their ability to not be able to attract the type of woman that they want. In my opinion, Pookies and Ray Rays, they get their karma. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them go to jail. A lot of them go to prison. But one of the things that people aren't saying about the so-called Pookies and Ray Rays is that these people are born in situations and environments that most of the time they couldn't control. So if you're born in a dysfunctional house, if you're born in a dysfunctional environment like I was, you would become a subject of your environment. And so you pick up certain things, you learn certain characteristics when you're growing up, especially when you're poor, right? There's more authenticity sometimes when you're growing up in those kind of communities, and you learn how to pull women at a young age and what women like at a young age. So if these other men can't keep up with these Pookies and Ray Rays as far as being the alpha males, that says something about them, not about the Pookies and Ray Rays. That's really what I wanted to add.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask the two sisters about this Pookie and Ray Ray thing. Like, first of all, do you all believe what Obsidian is saying, that most women are attracted to Pookie and Ray Ray? And then also, what do you think about this whole thing about nice guys versus the bad boys? Do you really think that women prefer bad boys or don't prefer them? Why or why not? What's your thoughts about that?
I'll let the other sister go first, and then I'll chime in.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know if you can recall, but this was like as far back as 2009. I did a video, and I think this video got this got a lot of thumbs down. It was called Thug Love. I think other people have used that title too. But yeah, I was just making a point that women don't just want nice guys. Okay, why is it that women, and this is not just black women, like I made the point pointing out Richie Cunningham versus Fonzie on Happy Days, bad boys make me feel so good. That was Gloria Estefan. This is with all women, and the thing is, it's not so much. There's no female saying that I want somebody that's gonna rob me, possibly rape me, leave me with 10 kids. I don't think there's any female saying that. The thing is, a lot of females are confused when it comes to aggressive behavior versus assertive behavior, especially if you did not have any men in your life, like your father or any positive male role models to show you what a man is, an assertive man. And of course, females don't want to be bored. A lot of times a lot of times that so-called bad boy is funny. That's a sign of assertiveness. You notice women always saying they want a guy with a sense of humor. I don't know why guys got offended by what I was saying. I was just giving advice. Okay, a lot of times we like a guy that's funny. We like a guy that's, just showing some signs of assertiveness. And I think what it is that the so-called bad boy, and a lot of times they ain't really bad boys. They we may confuse that aggressiveness as assertiveness. Like when you think of Fonzie versus Richie Cunningham, Fonzie was cooler. You know, he was, you know, because I think he didn't have a job. But I'm just saying. Also, so female don't just want a nice guy. Also, we have to understand that, well, this is something too I want to point out. A lot of these guys up in here who are claiming to be nice guys who are passed over, I'm sorry, but that's BS. Like I said, I would rather risk having my credit ran up any day than to deal with a jerk. Because a lot of these guys up in here who are claiming that they are nice guys. Now, my husband, he has been categorized as a computer geek or whatever. He is a nice guy. And he's funny. He has a weird sense of humor, but he's funny in his own little weird way. So a lot of these guys are not nice guys. In fact, I have been in streams with some of the bad boys people question me with on, and they have treated me, it's sad to say, with more respect, actually. And that's messed up.
I'm not trying to cut in, but what I'm saying is it's okay if women don't like nice guys. I don't see a problem with that, because I think being nice sometimes is being fake. So that's, I don't believe that there's people want nice, women don't want nice guys. I don't believe, number one, like I agree with you, like what a lot of these nice guys, they act like they're saying that they're nice guys, but they really want the same things that the other people want. They just can't, they don't have the confidence to get it that way. So, but what I'm saying, yeah, a lot of them, these so-called nice guys, they envy the Pookies and Ray Rays. They envy the thugs. So that's why they spend so much time talking about them, because they have a certain swag and a certain confidence and a certain intelligence that some of these nice guys, quote unquote nice guys, don't have. So it's a kind of a jealousy thing.
Is this the same guy I remember debating with in the past?
I'm multi-dimensional, Lashid. I'm multi-dimensional. New Possibilities knows this.
Oh, so gosh. Yeah, I mean, and what is a bad boy, you know, versus the nice guy? I have told
it's simple. The bad boy versus the nice guy is simple. Like a bad boy is going to tell you exactly what he thinks most of the time. Whether he's going to hurt your feelings, he's going to do what he wants, but he's real with himself. He feel like, it's going to sound fucked up, he's going to feel like that he doesn't need you, and that he doesn't need to impress you, and that he's going to allure you into his aura. Like I can be me 100%. I can be real 100%, and then that's gonna have you gravitate towards me. That's really what it is. It's about you coming into my status. I don't have to come onto your status.
So
that's what these nice guys don't understand.
So it's confidence. So in other words, it's confidence.
It's confidence, but yeah, it is confidence, but it's not the fake confidence. It's not like you watch a video and they tell you, oh, you talk to a woman like this. It's about being comfortable in your own skin and actually being a leader and not a follower, and not really caring what people think about you. And let's keep it real. A lot of these nice guys, they're not in shape. They're not articulate. They're not really intelligent. They get all big. They get all fat, and they start talking about I got a college degree, so they feel entitled. And then when you hanging out with a woman, and if you can make her laugh, if you can make her think, if you have something to talk about, then yeah, that's gonna do more and be more impressive than going on a date and be like, man, I got a master's degree. All I can talk about is my job. Like, that's lame.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so Concrete Rose, what do you have to say about that? What's your position on whether or not Black women prefer the Pookies and Ray Rays or the bad boys over the lambs?
I think it's a bit of a false narrative. I think that it is just being used to, as a tool of divisiveness. But I agree with a lot of the points that both of the panelists said, especially the woman. She is definitely spot on in a lot of what she's saying. I don't think it's necessarily nice guys versus bad boys. I think that it's confident men who actually display masculinity as opposed to men that are weak, men that are socially awkward, men who do not know how to act around women, men who, just completely lack confidence and they basically revert when a woman is around. Like, a woman wants to be led. Like, we are innately attracted to a man who has natural leadership capabilities. So if
Right.
you lack that, we're going to pick up on it and we're going to run the other direction. It's not necessarily a bad boy type of thing. It's the confident men who are assertive and who are sure of themselves. And a lot of times, it's just that bad boys display a lot of those characteristics. But you can be a straight
Yeah.
man and embody the same characteristics.
Right. And if I may add, this is something, I mean, she is totally correct. She definitely elaborated on the points we're trying to make. Yeah, see, this is something too that I try to tell people. And I know from when I had to be in the special classes, my mother had me reading before I was in school. So they would a lot of times take me out of the classroom I want to be in and put me in the classroom, what I guess you want to call nerds, because I'm a nerd myself. I got on my glasses now. But yeah, I'm just, but this is something I noticed. Those be the meanest kids. I don't know why we think because somebody is educated or they've been put in the category of nerd. And I'm not saying all educated people are nerds now, okay? But that they're nice. A lot of these gamers, and I'm thinking of white boys now, the ones that be up in here posting a lot of this sexist, misogynist, racist shit up in YouTube, these are not the funsies. These are these gamer nerds. So-called, these are the ones who will whine about women passing them by. So this idea that because somebody is smart, they're automatically nice, or because somebody is educated and has a good job, they're automatically nice or automatically appealing, attractive. And I'm not just talking about the physical. Okay, I'm not really even talking so much about the physical. I mean, that is a total lie. I'm not, and I know I'm generalizing right now because there are some really cool, nice guys. Like I said, some would think that my husband's a nerd, although he's not.
I'm gonna say. Go ahead.
Intelligence. A lot of times it is like cynicism and like they're snarky and they don't necessarily. There are a lot of them have social issues, and there are a lot of issues that are tied to intelligence that a lot of these so-called educated nice guys that they employ. So she is right with that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say that.
Obsidian is here. I want to let you all know that Obsidian is joined. Like we've been talking about. The last live stream was a response to my interview with Obsidian, and we're talking about a lot of things that Obsidian has talked about. So I wanted to let people know that Obsidian is here to share his views. But before I get to Obsidian, I just wanted to go back to this issue of Black women and their preferences. Now, one thing that we talked about during that meeting, the interview with Obsidian, is Black women focusing on appearance over everything else, like focusing on how attractive a man is before all these other qualities. So for the couple of women that are on this panel right now, do you look at attraction first when you're looking for a mate, or do you consider other qualities in a man before you decide to date that person or, get in a relationship with them?
Okay, I'll let you respond first.
Me personally, I mean, I have to be honest. It's important that I am attracted to you, but I don't have necessarily a specific type. I mean, you can be brown skin, you can be light skin. As long as you are a Black man, preferably African American, then I don't necessarily have a specific type, but I do have to be attracted to you. There has to be a level of attraction in order for it to go past the initial conversation.
Right. And speaking for myself, only thing that I had a hang up over when it came to attractiveness is maybe because I'm really short, I did have a strong hang up when it came to height. Height. That was like my only real hang up when it came to, and you had to be Black, of course. But yeah, other than that, it's more about how you present yourself, because and this just isn't as important to women, and I am going to generalize. I think I can generalize. Of course, we would all like somebody who looks good. We'd be lying if we said that absolutely did not matter. okay, that's a lie, and I am going to generalize in saying that. But you know, like guys, like some people laughed at this, or they didn't, you know, they thought I was lying. But I used to, you know, when I was a teenager, I had an attraction to KRS-One. You know, I used to, you know, it was his, if you want to say assertiveness, his stance, his countenance. Also, he had wisdom, knowledge, and charisma and wit to go with it. And me being into hip hop myself, I used to rap and dance and stuff, you know, and him being a rapper and him spitting the knowledge and all that, that actually attracted me. And to me, if your personality is a certain way, if you've ever known like someone who you may not have found them as attractive, but the more they talk and stuff, and you know, they become attractive. You see them differently. You see they smile differently, even if they got a gap in their teeth. You see things differently. I hope that it's like that also with men overall. But you know, we'd be lying if we said, you know, looks didn't, you know, and it's the same vice versa. Like this guy I was with who was really cute, but he had, you know, he's very attractive. But you know, there's just nothing there. You know what I'm saying? It's like he didn't have to work on his personality or his character because he was used to females throwing themselves at him. You know what I'm saying? So he was no longer as attractive to me anymore.
I don't think it's a crime to say that looks matter. I don't think I hope that's not trying to sound too vain or anything, but if a man's looking for a woman, a certain look does matter. And vice versa. A woman likes a man. I'm not saying most, but if you are in physical shape, or if you're, you know, have a certain, you know, a swag about you, women are gonna find that attractive. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think people need to feel bad about feeling attracted to who they feel attracted to.
The problem with all of this, good evening, afternoon, I should say, everyone. The problem here is we keep moving away from my actual argument, which is this. I am responding to more than 3 decades of complaints by Black women about the Black men they chose to mate with and their complaints about them. So, I mean, in many ways, all of these ancillary points that have been brought up here are either straw man, they're the straw man arguments, red herrings, or they've already been addressed. The issue here, we're already past all of this stuff. Black women themselves have deemed the fuck boys, that's the term in vogue today, fuck boys, they've already deemed them as problematic. What they want is another group of Black men to straighten it out. What I'm saying, let me finish. What I'm saying is that Black women need to straighten themselves out. They're the ones who made the choice. Now they must live with their choice.
Okay, can I respond to that? Or are you gonna?
Yes,
are you?
Please, yes.
I mean, I know the ladies want to respond too. Okay, you're talking about Black women who made choices to lay with certain men of the past, and you're talking about doing what exactly to them complaining? Why would you care about them complaining? That's like saying about a Black male who did things in the past, who committed crimes in the past, who made mistakes in the past, getting into his 30s and 40s and complaining. Why even give that merit? Why even worry about them complaining? If they if they put themselves in certain situations, and they can complain all they want to, it's up for them to get themselves out, man or woman.
And that's fine. I mean, if you don't want to pay attention to it, that's your choice. But what I did, the entire purpose of the Obsidian Radio project is to serve as a response to a multi-decades harangue by Black women in both the white mainstream media and what I refer to as Black vagina vision media, from Oprah to Derek Jackson and everything in between.
Okay, but you're saying a response. What's the response?
I wasn't finished. To respond to all of their plank of a platform plank and slate of talking points coming from a sector of black men that have been I'm not one to buy into conspiracy theories and stuff, but I have to say, after a solid decade of writing in both the white and black mainstream black manosphere, I've got a long catalog of articles and a track record in that regard, and now nearly 4 years of podcasting. I think now I can say with a degree of confidence that black men like me have been deliberately left out. And I'm bringing a voice to the table let me finish, that is being heard, and I'm addressing major talking points. A major talking point is black men ain't shit. And what I'm doing is let's get into the weeds to determine exactly who we're talking about who ain't shit. And what I find is black women consistently go for a certain type of black man, and Essence has already talked about this, and they look at a certain type of traits in those black men that other races of women don't do.
It's not true.
And then they get a bad result consistently, and then they want to blame all black men for it instead of looking at themselves and why they consistently select the worst kinds of black men for long-term mating. Black women want to turn a cad into a dead.
Okay, are you done? Are you done yet? Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. I gotta respond. I'll let the ladies respond. Look, number one, I've been making YouTube videos for 5-6 years. I have videos 4 or 5 years ago with every single talking point that you're talking about now, addressing it, coming from your perspective to a certain extent with all those things. So what you're doing really is nothing new. It's been going on YouTube for fucking 10 years. All right. And then, and so all your talking points have already been addressed. Okay.
Really?
Number
So the nearly 80% bastardy
So
rate has been addressed by you.
Let's make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak. So go ahead, hollow point with your response, and then after you're finished, I'll give Obsidian a chance to respond, and then I know that Lashid4U wants to chime in, and others want to chime in as well.
Okay.
Fact.
Okay. Yes, I am definitely aware of the propaganda that's been put against black men for 30 years. That's no debating that. What I'm talking about is if you're hearing a woman complaining, or if anybody complaining about all black men ain't shit, all black women ain't shit, that women are just, to me, in my opinion, to be ignored, because it's a circle going back and forth. It's like black men want to blame black women and vice versa. Like, I just don't be around it. I just don't listen to those arguments from either side. I don't listen to black women going around saying all black men ain't shit, and I don't listen to black men saying it to black women. I just stay away from it because it's not going anywhere. It's not going to get better. It's not going to change. It will never change.
It creates a narrative.
Right.
Huh?
It creates a narrative if it's not addressed.
It's an old narrative, though. It's an old narrative. It ain't new.
So you just fold it?
I think you just ignore it.
So that's folding.
Oh no, it's ignoring, because you can't honestly address the issues of that thing, because people are going to get sensitive about it. Nobody's going to admit, black men aren't going to admit that some of them dropped the ball. Like, a lot of black women aren't going to admit that some of them dropped the ball because they're not going to be honest with themselves. So you should be ashamed of it. You should be ashamed of it. That's not going to do anything, because they don't feel shame because they're not honestly addressing it. So
everything
what's the point
in this world, bro, I'm going to tell you why. Everything in this world is about propaganda wars. It's a war of information first. Whoever folds loses. Period.
And
world wars are fought based on propaganda.
That's true.
Okay,
whoever loses.
Now, what war are you fighting? Because this isn't a war. If it's a gender war, both parties already lost.
It's a war about narratives about the other gender. You can call it whatever you want.
Not only that, but I would say, because I was talking the other night about this topic on another channel, and a similar point was made. We've been talking about these issues before. So my response to that is, okay, so why is it that this topic right now, as we speak right now, is being discussed? Clearly, it has not been resolved.
It will never be resolved.
Pardon?
It would never be resolved.
Yeah, it can be resolved. I disagree.
No,
it can be resolved. I disagree.
Not
it can be
It
resolved.
cannot be resolved because you're not gonna victim. You're not gonna shame a woman. You're not gonna shame a woman into being You're not going to shame a woman into being the type of person.
No,
you're not going to shame a woman into being the type of person that you want them to be with. That's just not going to happen.
Okay, like one person at a time speak instead of you all speaking over yourself.
Again, this is what I'm talking about, new possibilities. They keep misrepresenting my position.
Obsidian.
This can be resolved. Hang on. This can be resolved. All I ask is that Black women accept the consequences of their decisions in quiet dignity. That's it.
Okay, but then that means Black men have to accept the consequences of their decision too. Black men have knocked up.
I'm glad you said that, Holly Point, because I'm glad you said that, because that was a major centerpiece of my recent conversation with New Possibilities, the great Pookie and Ray Ray compromise. I'm willing to use my platform to tell the guys, listen, leave the ladies alone. Life is unfair. Nobody owes you anything. Leave them be. And in return, Black women, stop trying to shame, guilt, and control Black men into doing the things that a man who is mated to you should do for you, protect you, provide for you, make your community safe for you. That's what your husband needs to do for you. That's what the father of your children need to do for you. Not men who are not mated to you, not men who don't know you. If they're willing to take that deal, I will use my platform to tell the so-called lames and cornballs, please leave these Black women alone. I've never heard nobody take me up on that deal.
All right, so I see that Lashid4U is trying to make a point. So, like, Lashid, if you can make your point.
Yeah, it seems like he make a lot of points that I forgot what I wanted to initially address. Okay, you said that, and I agree with you when you say that we don't need to ignore these issues. I definitely believe that we need to discuss them. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have made my videos and trying to address these issues. Okay, now the thing is, you say that we need to discuss these issues and we need to try to resolve them. So, like what you were saying with Black women on talk shows, for instance, and this is the example I keep using. Okay, you mentioned Oprah Winfrey, the Oprah Winfrey argument. So I do a video, and see, the thing is, I'm sitting, you can't fool me because I've been here long enough, okay? I know of you, okay? I don't really watch your channel, but I know of you, okay? And you've made videos dissing me, okay? So I know of you, okay? Now, and you know of my channel because you first came to me, okay? Letting it be known that you have noticed my channel and my videos. Now, so I don't know if you know or not, but I have made videos where I have debunked the claims that Black women were on talk shows and stuff for years talking about, and you use an Oprah being the primary example. I went as far as showing archives. I've shown archives, okay? I talked also as a person who watched the show. Remember when it was AM Chicago? I have shown archives, a list. I got that up right now that I could show, okay? And I'll make another video showing this information. So I've shown proof, archives, informations, showing you also footage showing that Black women were not on all these talk shows talking about Black men. Just because you see a token here and there on a show that's talking about cheating husbands, that does not mean that these were shows specifically for Black women to bash Black men, because like I said with Oprah Winfrey show, and I have shown this, the majority who would be in her audience were white women, and the majority on her panel would be middle class white women, because she doesn't give a shit about Black women. She dissed Toni Braxton, made her feel bad just as she did Ludacris. Okay, Oprah never. Do you think that society even give a shit about Black women enough? Okay, to even allow us to have a mic. Oprah has the biggest mic in the nation, and she has never really represented Black women or Black women's struggles or whatever it is specifically that Black women go through. Okay, we know that there are stereotypes in media against Black men and Black women. Like we could see that on Maury Povich. Okay, but to make these claims that this is what Black women have been doing as a collective, that is a lie. I have shown it in the archives. So since I have done this, shouldn't that argument be resolved? Especially when we're talking about the talk shows. And I will also show some, Ricky Lake, because Ricky Lake was also mentioned, okay? And I can also show that. I'll do that in a second. I don't want to flood New Possibilities stream with all that. And stuff I repeated over and over. And I've seen myself repeating stuff. It's just like with white folks. You will show them over and over, like with my Ancient Egypt series. Look, the Ancient Egyptians. I'll show 15 minutes of video clips of images, etc., showing ancient Egypt depicted as Black in artists' busts, etc., etc. They go, it's like they never respond to that. Like, okay, I see what you're saying, you're right. They never respond to that. They just end up going back in circles. I'm right, this is how it is because I say so. And that's what you are doing. I could show you the information debunking those claims so that we can move on, but you will not consider it, okay? Because I'm looking at a person's intentions, and I do believe that I know your intentions, Obsidian, okay?
Well, okay, so since you know what they are, tell me, what are they?
Obsidian, you know that I had done a video on a Black female, and this was nothing Black male, Black female, or versus Black female, who was suicidal, okay? This is when I recall, okay? You had came in that video, and I'm trying to reach out to this sister. I didn't say her name. I just wanted people to leave posts and stuff of love and concern so that she could see it and I could show it to her, without giving out her name, and see that she's loved. She's in the video in the dark talking about how she's suicidal. I don't know if you remember that, New Possibilities. You came up in that video with the same rhetoric. Didn't have a damn thing to do with that video. And I'm trying to tell you, brother, not now. This isn't the time for that. Can you do that if you want to talk about the Black men versus Black women, So I think, and I'm not trying to start arguing with you. I'm just saying, I look at a person's intentions. Okay?
All right, so what are my intentions?
What are your intentions?
Yes.
Like a lot of people, a lot of this with the Black sector has been built off the backs of Black women. Let's just keep it real. There's a lot of people, it is a trend. It's not just a trend, but you can make money off of, just as y'all claim with certain Black women in the entertainment industry. We could say both vice versa, whether it's Beyonce or whoever. There is a trend also in social media of bashing Black women, and you can make
okay.
money.
All right, I got to disagree with you.
All right, let me respond to this.
It's a market. There's a market.
Let me respond to this. All right, so it's clear you are right about one thing. You don't listen to my show very often because I make my intentions clear all the time. I mean, I make no bones about the fact, and Gab Talk Radio and New Possibilities and Miss Concrete Rose are my witnesses. I make no bones about my intentions to make a lot of money off of Black female fuckery. That's my goal. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I see nothing wrong with it. If Black women, listen, hold it now. If Oprah Winfrey can make billions off of Black men ain't shit. And if all these other entities and personalities can make money hand over fist over how the many different ways that Black men ain't shit, then nobody should have a problem with me talking about Black female fuckery and making really good coin doing it.
Stop that shit, man.
Nobody should have a problem with it.
So Obsidian, real quick, I just want to say this. Like, what's your response to Lashid? Like, she pointed out how she went through the archives of the Oprah Winfrey show, and she also pointed out how most of the guests on there were middle class white women and stuff like that. So how are you saying that Oprah Winfrey was basically a platform to bash Black men?
Well, I didn't say that. What I said was, well, first of all, let me go back to answer directly your question, New Possibilities. Oprah Winfrey has been on the air, and I'm talking about when I'm on the air, I mean network television, before she went to her own network. She had been on the air for nearly 30 years. I find it very hard to believe, not impossible, but highly unlikely, that Lashid4U has gone through some 3 decades worth of material to vouchsafe her premise
Me
that
too.
she didn't really bash black men. Now, the next point in following that, Oprah Winfrey has done numerous shows where she disparages black men as a group. Case in point, the down low issue. Case in point, the idea that there ain't enough black men to go around, even though she turned down marriage to an eligible black man in Stedman Graham, even though other black women have testified that they were divorced from black men. So if there's a shortage of black men, how is it possible for black women to be divorced? These are just simple examples. There are many, many
Did you go through 3
and the
decades?
other thing I would say to you, Lashid4U, is this, is that I didn't just mention Oprah. I mentioned a range. Black Vagina Vision Media. I said everyone from Oprah to Derek Jackson right here on YouTube. And if you go to his channel and read the comments, thousands of black women are complaining about fuckboys, which brings us round robin back to my argument. Okay. I am responding to black women. If you want a different result, you have to choose a different dick.
Why must you talk?
Wait.
If I can respond, of course, I can show you and scroll on and on. Like I said, I remember when the show was AM Chicago. I honestly don't think that you brothers sat with and watch. Oh, Oprah's on. I'm going to sit down and watch her show. Okay, for one. And I could show you going up to, I got the list open right now, scrolling through, and I posted the link also. I posted the link so you could look for yourself. Of course, I'm not going to be able to scroll through her show started airing in September 1986 when it became nationally syndicated. Before that, it was AM Chicago. Not much different than a show like The View or one of these morning shows. First of all, the majority of her shows were not even on cheating spouses. And I also mentioned where she had a show. This was like after 1998. She had a show with a black man on the down low. Okay, but she's been making shows for 30 years. Okay, 30 years. Going back to about 1986. She made shows for 30 years. That is always used as an example. And understand this: Oprah Winfrey was the host of the show, but that was a black man who himself volunteered. Nobody made him. He wrote a book on his own talking about how there are a lot of black men on the down low. He came on that show. Nobody made him.
That's not how it works.
But no. See, that's the thing. He has a responsibility.
That's not how that works at all.
He has a responsibility. And then in the 2000s, she did a show, and I talked about this in my series, Black Men versus Black Women, Project Genocide. In my series, and that's the thing, because I targeted Oprah in this thing, and that's another thing too. I was on a talk show, okay, a very popular talk show, and defending black men. So for somebody to tell me against a swirler, so for somebody to tell me when I guess you could say I was with only one show though, but and they tried to contact me in YouTube to be on Dr. Drew. Okay, what I'm saying is that. You cannot, okay, y'all are looking at this using this as an excuse. This is a single show. And when she had this show, and I noticed that this was after 2000, where she was talking about all the single black women over, and I talked about this probably before any of y'all mentioned it. I talked about this, how she had this show with all these single black women, talking about how so many black women are single, not married. And in the end, she talked about the option. And I have talked about in my video how they are now trying to show black women their options. Now, why do they feel the need to stress this today? Because they know that by far, black women are not going outside their race or have an interest. And I think I'm a black woman and can speak to it. And that is why now they are promoting people like the Obsidians, the Tommies, to make black women disgusted in black men. So really, you are doing a disservice to black men, and you are part of the propaganda plan to push, because I see the propaganda. And once that's your video and they're pumping up the Tommies and the Obsidians and stuff, they're going to put on the Oprah show or whatever. You see, black women, you have more options. They're going to be these swirlers up in YouTube, because a lot of these women were set up to counter you. Do you understand what I'm saying, Obsidian? These women are countering you, and that was the plan. Whereas me, I've been trying to play the mediator.
So let me get this straight. So I am a government CIA deep cover plant here to disrupt Black America. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. But I know this. I know enough to believe that you are mixing. My channel is not monetized, and there is nothing wrong.
Oh my God.
In the 10 years I've been here, okay, I came in here late 2008, December. I have not had my channel monetized. The only reason I'm saying it because I want y'all to have y'all channels monetized. But I'm just saying this so you know my intentions, okay? However, you can make money off of bashing Black women as well as Black men. But it became very trendy, okay, to bash Black women. I saw this going on from going back to the message boards before there was YouTube, okay? It is very trendy. See, they set up people like these guys up here, and all of a sudden, why is everybody seeing Tommy's videos as a recommend? Why is that? That was on purpose. I have seen people who have been in Tommy's video, white men who have also been in Crystal and Karis's, because they are rooting y'all on so they could go and play the white knight and rescue the Black women once we're in a frustrated ass state. And you see what
Lashid4U.
You are being
Oh my
used
God.
to push an agenda.
Lashid4U.
You cannot make
Whether
this
you
stuff up.
whether you realize it or not, it may be subconsciously, but you're pushing the white man's agenda.
Exactly. Thank you.
All right. So I'm pushing the white man's agenda, but Black women like you having babies out of wedlock isn't.
Look, this is where
Don't
okay,
even
you
go
guys,
there. We
you guys
ain't
look
even about to discuss my
this.
children.
All right.
Oh my God.
So let me go ahead, Hollow Point, but I also want to give Lashid. Let me give Lashid a chance to respond to what Obsidian said. Like, I want us to have a discussion, but I don't want like there to be personal attacks on anybody. Like, going into anybody's personal history. I don't think that that's appropriate. We can discuss ideas without like the low ball, low.
But it's okay to accuse me of being a government agent. Really? It's okay. That's okay. New possibilities to accuse me of being an infiltrator, accuse me of being part of the MK Ultra program. Really?
Forgive me.
Really?
Oh my God, this feminist stuff. Exactly. Why do I see it everywhere now? Black women in commercials and ads with white men. I'm seeing this. I see what's going on. But I'm gonna, I know there's another sister and other people on the panel. And forgive me, New Possibilities and Obsidian, if I got too personal.
All right, yeah, I just want to make sure that we don't, like, on all sides, like, no personal attacks, but, let's just stick to the issues. We can discuss the issues without, like, making accusations against anybody or going into somebody's personal history and all that kind of stuff. I think we can have, a great dialogue without that. But I see that Hollow Point had
and no spiritual readings.
Yeah, I see that
Hollow
Point was trying to make a point, but before I get to Hollow Point, let me shout out a couple of people that have made donations. Shout out to Spook Freeman. Spook Freeman said that Black women have been trying to swirl for over 50 years. And I'm going to talk about interracial relationships in a second because I want to get to a point that Obsidian made during our interview. And then shout out to Jess for my 4 cents for your donation. You said the same thing. So go ahead, Hollow Point. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, first of all, Lashid4U, I'm not going in on you. We've already had our back and forths. You also do the same thing with other people, as in you will judge them without going and review their previous content. Me and you've done that with me. So I would think that it's best that we all don't be like automatically assume what other people's agendas are. I mean, especially we're not all gonna all go look at each other's old videos and then be like, okay, well, this is if a person, let's just be like, try to be civil with it, but like, oh, well, you have this agenda, you have this agenda. Lashid4U, you've done that yourself. So to accuse Obsidian of doing that isn't actually a great idea.
Okay, well, if I have done that, because I thought that I would just be responding to whatever was said on the panel, because I do think.
No, you was accusing Obsidian of being an agent, and you have done that to me. And of saying something similar to me, and so I don't. You've done this before.
That sounds like a Swiss Army knife response that Lashid4U uses when she doesn't have any more arguments left. She just accused you of being an agent.
Well,
no, but I'm saying, but I'm not trying to go in on Lashid.
But be paranoid. I can't help
it. No, I'm talking about. No, I'm talking
Well, at least you're being honest, Lashid, for you to self-awareness is a big part of life. I'm glad that you admit that you're paranoid. I'm glad you admit that.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm city.
Thank you.
All I know is this: I've been accused in the message forums of being a conspiracy nut, blah blah blah. But you know what?
That's not what I was saying. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm sorry to you. If that's what I've done, I didn't know I did that. You know, maybe I have, and I'm sorry.
No, you have. New possibilities was there. You've done that. So I'm not trying to talk about conspiracy theories. But you will accuse somebody of something and accuse them of being an agent, or accuse them of knowing what their agenda is, just because you don't like the argument. You've done that. So don't do that to Obsidian.
Well,
okay, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, if I may respond real quick, because I used to be at the message forums, and anybody who I suspected was white, true that, I called them out. But I know this. When I told them that they were going to kill Michael Jackson that year, and everybody saying,
listen to you, that's not what I'm talking about. So come back here for a minute.
Oh my God, cue the X-Files music theme, please.
Yes.
No, because some conspiracies is legit, but what I'm talking about with Lashid4U is what she will do. When I've had this argument with her before, when we would argue about interracial dating or whatever, she would accuse me of some shit that I didn't do, or so, and even though I have videos for years talking about anti-white supremacy, Lashid4U would accuse me of being some pro-right supremacist because she didn't like my argument. Lashid4U does that.
Hey, we're getting away from a lot of the meat of the argument, man.
Okay,
but that's what I'm saying right now. Like we shouldn't be going around talking about what people's agenda is. And
no, I agree with the spiritual reading. She did give what I consider like some spiritual insight to Obsidian that is, usually pretty personal to people. And I agree that she could do that on her channel. I don't necessarily disagree with her, coming to a place where people fit into the way she views things. But I don't think it's constructive for this particular discussion.
Okay. Well, the thing is, I do still want to make the point that there are agents, okay? Even if it's not necessarily, now I can't remember exactly. See, you saying all this stuff, and people gonna believe that what's your hollow point. That I can't remember. I just know we did have some exchanges. I thought it just had to do with the panel. But that I can't, unless we were to dig that up, I don't think I did all that.
You did.
Lashid, I've seen you give spiritual checks on people in your own space. Okay. I don't know that you've done it on panels.
Okay. Well, then I am sorry. There are women who can say, because there's women up in here I've called agents too. So it is not a thing of me. And if I am, but it's not wrong to suspect necessarily. But I will say to the brothers on here, and anybody I was wrong about, male or female, please forgive me. I can't help but be paranoid.
All right.
All right. So what I want to do is take us back to some of the things that me and Obsidian talked about during our interview. Like one thing that we talked about was the issue of a man's responsibility to defend Black women. Now, basically, Obsidian was saying, well, he doesn't want to serve as some community eunuch. He said that his responsibility to defend women is limited to women that he's in a relationship with or women who are his relatives. And he basically said that that's where the obligation for defense ends. So to the brothers on the panel, do you take that same perspective? And what's the response of the sisters hearing, Obsidian take that kind of position?
You speaking to me?
Yeah, it's open to everybody.
Well, since everybody else is gathering their thoughts, let me just say this again. Black women, I'm not saying every last Black woman, but Black women overall as a group, and I point to as evidence and proof right here on Black YouTube, elsewhere on social media, Facebook, and so forth. We've seen instances of Black women being attacked and having a hard time and being shown on social media, and Black women's response is that Black men writ large must protect Black women simply on the basis that I'm Black, you Black, your mama Black. And my position is, all right, let's test that out. Lots of Black men have blue balls. Therefore, ergo, Black women have a collective duty and responsibility to service those brothers in the name of the community.
Okay.
Now look at New Possibilities, he's cracking up because he knows about the absurdity of that position. He knows it's absurd.
That's ridiculous. But
So exactly. So I would say it's the same absurdity the other way around. Why is it my responsibility to potentially put my life on the line for a black woman I don't even know? That is your husband's job. That is your daddy's job. That is your baby daddy's job.
Can I respond? In reference to the question, I am a firm believer in communal protection and communal respect. So I do believe.
And I believe in communal blue balls relieving.
Let me finish my statement first.
Let's not interrupt each other. Let's, let everyone make their point and then you can respond. So Concrete Rose is saying something. Go ahead, Concrete Rose.
Black men should, we're tribal. I think that one of the cornerstones of that tribalism is group protection. I think that there is most black women do believe that, black men are going to step in and protect them, if they're being assaulted. And I think that it's always been that way. In turn, I think that black women are respecting black men. And we see far too many examples where they are not doing that. So I understand a lot of men refraining from protecting black men. In addition, I don't think that black women should intentionally get into a situation that could lead to their detriment and expect a black man to come to their rescue. Me personally, whenever I'm out and about, I'm thinking about my man's safety as well as my own. So I refrain from maybe, let's say, wearing revealing clothing and or, getting slick with somebody because I don't want him to have to, go up in somebody's jaw and then it turn into something ugly. You don't know if they're carrying and, whatever. So I try to keep that in mind and, monitor my own behavior so that my man or any other black man does not have to put their lives on the line for something trivial or frivolous.
Hey, can I say
Yeah,
something?
I was just about to go to you, Gab. Now let's put this to the acid test. Gab, you're a married man, been a married man of many years. Do you feel it is your responsibility to jump out the window with your red cape flapping for any black woman out there that needs it? Got to get their cat out of a tree, something like that. And if so, how does Mrs. Gab feel about that?
Yeah, I only feel like I have a responsibility if I choose to carry it out that way. I think that we should work to their credit. I would say, yeah, maybe we should be working towards something like that. But there's a lot of things that need to be ironed out because the thing that we're calling a community is not necessarily that yet. So there's some things that need to be worked out. Here's also something in terms of my wife. Yeah, no, she's not going to want me to jump out there for any and everybody. Where I'm jeopardizing her protection with my life for people who I have no idea what's going on and what kind of judgment they're using out here in these streets. So that puts a period to that. I have an option. With the other part to this is that what I'm finding, brother, New Possibilities, is that many women, because of this position that where if they don't take personal responsibility. Okay, hold on, y'all.
So did anyone else have anything to say on that point while we wait for Gab?
Yeah, we definitely need a big booty in every pot. And if we're going to have community protection for black women, then each man should have his own community booty. I think that's only fair.
You have it at home. Your woman is a part of the community.
Well, I would say the same thing to the black women complaining about, protection. Don't you have a man at home to protect you?
Okay, can I speak? Oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Lashid.
I'm done.
I'm sorry. Was she done speaking or?
Oh, go ahead, Lashid.
Oh, I just didn't want to interrupt her. Yeah. See, the thing is, I'm what you call a traditional woman. Well, I want to be considered a traditional woman. That's what I'm trying to be. God-fearing. That's what I'm trying to be. But the thing is, the feminist claim that she doesn't need a man, she don't want a man. So it's going to be that that woman with more traditional idealisms that's going to expect more from a man. And the natural position of a man is what I believe, despite what you believe, religion-wise, spiritual, I believe it's the natural position of a man or patriarchal leader. And I do believe in the patriarch. I know there are some women who don't. I believe that men should lead. And I believe that when men get it together, it's going to be a domino effect. That does not mean that I don't have a responsibility in the meantime, but there's a lot of talk as if they are looking for the Black women to first make the step. So first, you got to dump the Pookie and Ray Ray or whatever. First, you got to close your legs. First, if you continue to wait for women to get it together, for the Black race, it's never going to happen. I don't care if 1 minute there was complaints about the welfare queen, so then and women being skeezers. So when Black women, we listened to that in the late 80s, early 90s. So then Black women start becoming more educated, pursuing higher education, getting more jobs, getting in the workforce place more, making songs talking about how they independent, like Salt and Pepper song. Then it was like, oh, you're too independent. You don't need a man. And it's like, which is it? And see, the thing is, if you're waiting on the women in general to get it together and then things will come in, that is not how a patriarch responds. And Black men as a collective, it is your duty as a man to protect and provide. It's about the P's. Patriarchs, they protect, they provide. Women, support, nurture. Okay,
it's about the P with women too.
We're going to see a domino. That's like
it's about the P with women too.
Hold on, Obsidian. Don't let
you left that P out.
It is an order on earth. Now, of course, I'm gonna say the Heavenly Father first, but there's an order on earth: man, woman, children, animals. If I'm a woman and I keep complaining about how bad these damn kids is, you know what I'm saying? See, I come, it is for me to get together, and I feel responsible for all children to a degree. Okay,
get paid now, offer protection later.
Hold on, women complaining about and blaming kids for the problems when the woman is supposed to have lead over the kid. You see what I'm saying? When men get it together, you're going to see the domino effect. Then women. Then it is for men as a collective to take that first step. You cannot expect to be seen as a patriarchal leader if you are not taking that. You say that you don't have this responsibility. It's just about no, it's not just about my man. I'm affected by whatever this other sister is affected by. Like people questioning me on making videos against darkism, as Lashid4U would call it, or colorism. Oh, if you're not a dark-skinned sister, you shouldn't be affected. Says who? Says who? My mama was a dark-skinned Black woman. And what affects Black men, that's why I made a 5-part series in defending Bill Cosby. And I ain't getting no money for it. Defending Michael Jackson, because what happens to Black men, it does affect me. So I do have a responsibility, not just for my husband, but Black men in general.
I'm telling you, now notice when I mentioned the P, nobody had anything to say about that. We got to provide and protect and produce. What about the other P? What about that? I tell you what about that. They want to give the P to Black men who don't provide and protect and produce, but expect other men to do all those things without any recompense. I want a fair deal.
See, it's not a struggle war. I think you see men and women as equal. I'm one of them.
I want fair trade.
I don't want equal treatment to men. I believe we should be treated fair.
I said I want a fair trade.
We ain't the same. It's not a struggle war.
Your P for my P.
Obsidian, I have a question for you. If your lady friend is out and about by herself without you and something happens to her, wouldn't you want a brother to step in to protect her?
Absolutely nothing, because she's not going to be in a situation like that. You want to know why? Because I have taken specific steps and measures to make sure she's not going to be in a situation like that. It starts with protection. Are you familiar with the Secret Service, Rose?
Of course.
All right. The Secret Service has a certain way and procedures to protect the most important man on planet Earth. They just don't allow the president just to hang out and chop it up over at this local Starbucks. He can't do that. He can't do that. There are certain places the president of the United States goes and they plan his route, they plan where he's going to go, they plan how long he's going to stay there. All of that is part of protection. So if you are with a man who has not made provisions for you, have not made you safe in a particular environment, has not made it so that your particular route and everything is pre-planned, then you have a fundamentally incompetent man. You have a breathing, walking, talking dildo. That's it.
Yes, I just wanted to add some more to that particular point that you're making, Obsidian. Like, I mean, even though you're saying that you provide protection for your woman and all that kind of stuff, I mean, there could possibly be a situation where you are not with her and she's in danger. And you're saying that in that situation, you would not want that person, a man, to intervene to protect her. Is that what you're saying? Or your sister?
She's armed.
So you're saying that she's always
situation, I've made sure to provide her with the arms and rudimentary basic training to where if she's in a situation, she can deploy particular type of countermeasures. I'm not going to go into the details, but she can deploy countermeasures enough to be able to get the hell out of there.
Now, and you mentioned that you had sisters as well. Are they armed as well? Are you saying that they're armed?
Yes.
What about somebody that doesn't have, like, for instance, they haven't armed their sisters and their mothers and all that kind of stuff, but they
are baby Huey black men.
Look,
they are incompetent.
Hold on one second. They protect them. Like, if they're in their presence, they will protect them and all that kind of stuff. They will take on that personal role of protection, but they happen to be in a situation where their loved one is not armed. Like, most people don't walk around with arms. Like, in most places, you can't even have a concealed weapon or even just have an open carry. Like, a lot of places have stricter gun control laws. So for those people that are in that situation where they're not in the presence of their loved one, their woman or their sister or their daughter or something like that, and they're out there in the public and somebody's threatening them, are you saying that somebody that's in a position to actually defend them should just fall back and just let that happen?
Better him than me.
You know what, Obsidian, though? You say that, and I took the same precautions too, but I want to say women are generally not as controlled in those types of situations. Do you know how many men walk up on women and take their weapon from them and still assault them?
This is the reason why you have a pre-planned route. Okay, let me give you another example. Iraq. Everybody remembers the Iraq war the United States was in over about 15 years ago. You're familiar with the green zone in Iraq. There is a green zone in Baghdad that American personnel were to be stationed at. You are not to leave the green zone unattended. Doing so will result in you being either severely wounded or killed. That is the security perimeter. When you are with a man, black women do not vet black men's fitness and ability to provide security. They don't do that. They do everything. Black women are expert at hustling backwards. And then they get mad when somebody like me says, get laid now, protect later. But they do that already. They get laid first, then they want the dude to protect them after they got laid.
Okay. I want to chime in. Fam, like, I think what you have is people out here exercising their options and telling you the way that they see it and the way that they have made provisions. So yeah, we can work towards the community and all of that, but he's bringing about some points that the community needs to work on also, and that is making better selections. So do we agree that we should be doing that and working on the community? Now, he opts out of working on the community, and I think really that's where a lot of people were hung up at, because we're trying to impose a responsibility that we were taught was necessary. I am one of those with you guys that think that men expand the responsibility in order to make sure that even their individual wife, sister, and children are safe when they just simply are constricted and cannot be there. So they make provisions. One way that they make it is the way that Brother Obsidian made it, but there is also an expanded way of doing it, and that is through the creation of the community. But what he is talking about also creates better community. So it's interlocking the whole conversation. There is a marriage to it. It's just wills. Do like you can call them names, and we can call them, you know, I done call him a ass and everything else. But I did have to yield to some legitimacy of his talking points. Are we doing that, or are we throwing out everything?
All right, I'm going to ask a question, and this is something y'all need to think about. If y'all talking about but women need to make better decisions and men need to make better decisions, what are the traits that these guys that you guys are calling the protectors or should be the protectors, what are the traits that they have that are attracting women that these regular nice guys don't have? That's the question you need to have, because if you're saying that black men that got their shit together, those should be the ones that women get attracted to, those are the ones that women should commit to, why is it the fact that these men are coming up short? What is it about them, not about the woman? What is it about the men that are turning off these women?
Yeah, let me say it this way.
I don't want to hear no generic, it's because black women want thugs, blah, blah, blah. I want to hear a specific trait that these so-called good men, that these so-called protectors have, that these black women are not attracted to.
Let me say it this way, bro. Do you first agree that we need to make good selections or better selections in order to get what we need for our families? Is that just simply an agreement?
It's I can agree to that, but it's not that simple, because you're going to be attracted.
No, it's not. I'm not simplifying it. I'm not simplifying it. So
okay,
first of all, we agree to that. So now we're left with ironing out what sacrifices are people willing to make to secure the things that they say they need.
No,
there's wants
and
then there's needs.
No.
Hold on. There's wants and then there's needs. So obviously there are going to be some sacrifices being made on both sides to make sure that they are getting what they want. So the so-called educated lames, I guess, have laid out what they think, in terms of security, being smart, having the finances and whatnot, self-improvement, these commitments to try and be more attractive and give women what they need. Black women? I hear you, bro.
I don't think you hear me, because you're not even really addressing what I'm saying. You're talking about what these black men have, these educated lames, and I'm saying they have all this finances, they have all this money, they have all this shit, yet they can't pull a decent black woman. I'm saying, what is it about them? And I don't want to hear, okay, yes, point A, point B, like, yes, a person should want this, and
I was rewinding. I was back in.
Okay. Aspect that a person, or the chemistry that a person might have for somebody else. So it's easy to say, yeah, I should date this person, yeah, because this person has a good job, has a good car, good house. But would this person be emotionally or physically attracted to this person?
You're making my point. Like, you have to weigh, brother, what is more beneficial to the community that you want. So some of your physical attraction and your emotional state of being may have to give way to the things that you consider more important or not. So you choose. Say it again.
We talked about this, and choosing someone who's competent but who is gonna treat you like crap. I think Lashid said that earlier. Like, you would.
Well, he's saying something different. He's saying something a little different. He's saying what is missing from what's missing from the so-called educated lame that makes him unattractive, and we need to work on that. So the brothers on the. Okay, go ahead, bro.
No, you're saying, yeah, we need to work on that, but I'm asking you specifically, what is it about the educated lanes specifically that women aren't attracted to?
They could be ugly.
That's not the right question. That's not the right question.
Okay.
Again, let's try this again.
No, that's my question. No, that's my question. I'm not talking about your question. I'm talking about my question.
Easy. black women have already determined that the black men they chose ain't up to the job. So why are we talking about another group of men who ain't even in the frame?
Because I don't hear black women around me say that type of shit. I don't hear black women around me complain about not being able to find a man.
We're not talking about this. This is not a discussion about Hollow Point's world.
Right.
But this is about Obsidian's world, though, right?
No.
No, this is definitely
about the women that you encounter, though, right?
This is about Obsidian's argument. Yeah, this is about Obsidian's argument. Yes, it is.
But it's based on the research you did from one of them being Essence Magazine that talked about what women want.
You mean propaganda?
So it's not
same propaganda that you guys are saying is destructive.
Well, how do you know it's propaganda? Hold it. How do you know it's propaganda? Give me evidence.
Because, like you said, I'm going off Hollow Point's perspective. I've been born in the inner city. I live in an okay neighborhood. I'm around black women all day long. I'm around black men all day long. I'm around black men who don't have a problem finding black women, and I'm around black women who don't have a problem finding black men.
So your limited worldview knows better than Essence's 1.6 million monthly circulation.
No, what I'm saying is you guys call some things propaganda when it's in your favor, and then you
said it was propaganda. What did I say was propaganda?
You statistics when it's in
when it's not. What did I say was propaganda?
No, what I'm saying is that you're talking about what an Essence Magazine poll says. Or is that what you're talking about? A poll?
What if I said was propaganda?
Okay, the Essence Magazine thing that you're quoting, is that a poll? What is that?
That's an article.
It's okay, an article, a person's opinion based off what?
No, it's not an opinion. It's an interview.
Okay. An interview. One specific interview based off what?
It was an interview of two black female matchmakers with over 20 years experience between them. And they said that they found that their white female clients had a completely different way of going about getting mates than their black female clients.
Let me tell you something about these. Let me tell you something about these white female clients that they're talking about. A lot of these white women. Let me say this because I don't think y'all understand. A lot of these white women will marry a white guy that has money.
Because you know white women better than white women.
Please.
Let me finish. A lot of these women, white women, who will marry these white men that have money or who are educated lames, and they're fucking black men and other men on the fucking side. They're not even doing swingers, cockhold situations. A lot of these situations, you guys are looking up to these white, not looking up, but
dude,
looking
I
to
ain't
these
even for the swirling, dog.
And
you
how
got us wrong. You got me wrong. I ain't for the swirling anyway, bro.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about in general. You got. Let me finish.
I'm asking you. How many white women do you know do this?
Let me finish. I'm saying a lot of these people, we look up to these people, not look up, but we looking at these white people's relationships, and they're able to get this nice guy to get the educated lame. They're fucking these other people on the side.
How do you know? How do you know what they're doing?
A lot of these MRA movements, men's rights advocates.
How do you know what they're doing?
Let me finish. A lot of these MGTOW movements, MRA movements, are white men who are tired of white women fucking around on them and using them for the resources. It ain't just black men supposedly going their own way. This is the American culture of a lot of men going their own way.
So therefore it makes it okay for black women to continue to make the choices that they make, then complain about it.
Hold on.
When it don't go right.
If you hear a crackhead complain about his life being fucked up, are you gonna really listen to that?
Given what crack has done to Black America? Are you kidding me?
Responsibility. A person should live with
what crack has done to Black America? Are you freaking kidding me?
No, because a person has the ability to make a choice and live with their decisions. If they fuck up, they fuck up.
Black women don't want to live with their decisions. They want to pass it off to other black men to fix. That's the point.
Why do you care? Why do you care?
Okay, I see that Lashid4U wants to get in here and make a comment.
Forgetting what it is. Okay, since we want to go along with what the media says, what the magazine says, this and that. Okay, you do know, right? Okay, not too long ago, there was, and I showed on this, there was an article on an app, a Facebook dating app. Are you interested? Okay, and it had showed that the majority of women, the men that they responded to, or the men that they wanted to get with, in other words, the majority of women, white, Asian, and Hispanic, they saw white men first and black men last. Yet with black women, they saw black men first. Okay, they were the only ones who saw black men first and white men last. Okay, but it was not reciprocated. Okay, it's sad to say, but they chose black women last and Asian women first. Okay, and that wasn't reciprocated. But of course, we hate black men. So if we're gonna go by what the media said, then we got to consider that as well. Also, what you're saying.
Why do we have to consider that? That doesn't have nothing to do with Essence Magazine.
Just saying,
it's a fucking One magazine article.
Hold on, you're saying that we need to consider this article in Essence not even really black women even having control over that anymore. We're supposed to consider that, but we're not supposed to consider this survey. Okay, and also, with the whole thing with Oprah or whatever, do you understand MGTOW? If we're following white feminists, that is shit that originated with white men. Do you know? Okay, the divorce rate between white men, with white couples, white marriages, it is pretty much at the same level, the same percentage as with black people. And y'all need to realize, like when it comes to the Tommy Sotomayor's, actually, another reason that you do have white men now following Tommy Sotomayor, because he is saying that he is a mouthpiece, black mouthpiece for what they want to say about women in general.
Yet another agent, right? He's an MK Ultra.
Let me finish. Hold on.
MK Ultra.
Hold on, Obsidian.
Hold on. If you want to call me, you know what? I am conspiracy because this nation was built on conspiracy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a realist. Okay, what I'm saying is, and yeah, Tommy is an agent. I'm gonna say that shit, offensive or not. But what I'm saying is, okay, there are white men who are feeling the shit that he say about black women. They're actually feeling that shit about their own women. The thing is that white men, they know not to make it race specific. That is why they hated Oprah Winfrey's show, like with the Al Bundys and this and that, No Ma'am. And you remember on Al Bundy, he had the anti-feminist group No Ma'am, and his wife would be watching Oprah, because Oprah's shows would show it was primarily white women who would be on those shows, middle-class white women, showing white men. She'd have like one token. She didn't give a shit about black women, but it'd be white men that she'd be showing in a bad light. Like with it was around the same time as the Lifetime network taking off and getting popular with movies like The Burning Bed. You had all this shit, Fatal Attraction, it's angry white women, single white female, white crazy ass white women propaganda being pushed at that same time. Because white men, they started being fed up with white women. Do you know when I did my video series, okay, the downfall of white women? It was responding to this brother who was talking about the downfall of dark-skinned black women. And I did a response to that too. So I said, since we ain't talking about white women, let me do a video, 2-part series, downfall of white women. Do you know how many white men, and I wasn't making that video for white men. Do you know how many white men came up in there agreeing with me? I didn't even know they paid attention to my channel like that. So, but the thing is, they're using black men as mouthpieces for what they feel about women. Because the white men, number one interracial relationship is white men and Asian women. If shit was so hunky-dory with white men and they women, then why are they? See, why am I long-winded? Who's long-winded, Gun Streets? When
I have a question for Lashid4U. I have just one question in response. Have you taken your medication today?
Actually, I did. But
what the fuck does that got to do with the subject?
You need to up the dosage.
David Monroe.
You need to up the dosage.
Whose channel has never been monetized, but I'm a government agent.
You need to up the dosage.
Again, I said no personal attacks.
Yeah,
refrain from that.
Yeah, that was a shot.
Well,
there was no call for that. And nobody, what she's saying is accurate. A lot of because if you go to a MGTOW channel, an MRA channel, there's thousands of white men who are going the other way, who are turning their backs on women in general. That's an epic thing on YouTube. So you're condensing it to the black people when this is a country. This is a country thing. A lot of white men are getting divorced or have extreme high suicide rates because
we're black.
What the fuck are you talking about? The black. These channels are on YouTube.
No, I was saying that we are black though.
Yeah, but when I'm saying it's a culture thing, it's an American culture thing, a materialistic, egotistical culture thing that most people are in it for themselves. And most people are going to get divorced at high rates. That's not just a black thing. That is a marriage thing.
Yeah, but we're addressing black people.
Yeah, but the reason why, like, like a Hollow Point and others are raising this issue about white people and their relationship issues is because a lot of times, like, you have people like Obsidian basically pointing out how these white women have, I guess, better standards in terms of how they choose mates and all that kind of stuff. Like, he cited the example of going to this Easter Day thing or whatever, and it was all these white women with these dorky guys, like, suggesting that somehow that these white women make these better decisions.
They do.
So that's the
They do
reason
make
why
better
it becomes
decisions.
relevant.
No, they
That's
don't.
the
Like I
reason-
said, have you heard of the
That's the
cuckold?
reason
Have
why
you heard of
what
that?
Hollow Point is saying and what Lashid4U is saying becomes relevant in this discussion. So I just wanted to point that out to Gab Talks.
Yeah, I was
Let
late.
me-
I'm sorry. Chew the meat, spit out the bones, man. What I'm saying is the brother Obsidian, I definitely don't agree. He knows. I don't agree with him on several points with respect to how we position ourselves with the black community and whatnot. But the whole thing is there any legitimate points being made when it comes to what he read about the article? Now, just based on the article alone, if any of that were true, because what you guys are doing, I see is in going after invalidating the article so that it kind of usurps the whole argument. My bottom line is that we need to do better at making choices. I don't care whether it compares to white women or any other women. I'm not into trying to make any other race look better than us. We can just deal with the talking points themselves. So if we can agree that we can improve on these things, then we can just move on. The rest of it is rhetoric and entertainment.
No,
But the
the only
problem is
reason
that black women are not going to agree to that because black women want to be able to have the freedom to be able to suck and fuck who they want, and then they want other people to clean up the mess.
He's right. And here's another thing, new possibilities. These women, a lot of women are going around looking for men to represent their talking points, and then we find ourselves at odds with each other. I think, brother, if we sat in a room, you would agree to most of these talking points. But what I'm finding is that there's this thing of trying to find somebody that's going to support them and not changing anything. And what I'm saying is that's not good. That's not a good approach. And I don't like the fact or the notion that I got to argue with the brotherhood about what we think is best for the community in the name of females not necessarily wanting to give up on a few things. What do you say to that?
New possibility.
Yeah, so you're asking me, like, what do I think about, like, can you repeat your question again?
Yeah, like there's what I see is women who don't necessarily want to give up on anything or find any value in what's being said. Instead of looking at the information and evaluating it as, okay, I can get with that. Many women are going around gathering men that will support their talking points. Many of them we have been referred to as simps because I've supported some of what I see is true. And the name calling is not even the point. I shouldn't even mention it. But they are doing this. They are going around finding people that, for the sake of, because they're a woman and because we've been traditionally seeing them as queens, they've been going around shaming us into taking certain positions to go against brothers like Obsidian and people in the Manosphere to protect them from having to change anything. That shit, that's the kind of stuff I don't support that at all.
Yeah, I don't think that overall, like, I'll just respond to that real quick. Like, I don't think overall that women are looking for these guys to basically serve as their simps or whatever. Like, you know, for instance, nobody has, like, reached out to me and said, "Hey, new possibilities. You need to do some video in response to Tommy or this one or that one."
No, it's smoother than
They
that,
didn't
brother.
have to do
It's
it with
smoother than that.
possibility. You
Wait, hold
volunteered.
on, hold
Right.
on,
That's my
hold
point.
on, hold on. This guy Obsidian is hilarious, man. But anyway, like, I don't think that they're looking for somebody to protect them and not hold them accountable and all that kind of stuff. I don't think that that's what people are looking for. And I don't think that no woman will respect a man that basically will just be manipulated by them and just do whatever they want them to do. I don't think that that's what they want. That's not what it's all about. Like, my whole thing is, there's nothing wrong with people disagreeing. There's nothing wrong with me speaking out against misogyny. Like, I don't see that as simping. You know, it's just about justice. It's about fairness. Like, I don't think that it's appropriate for people to make money demonizing black women, just like I don't think it's appropriate for black women to make money demonizing black men. You know, I think that we need to come together as men and women and build our community instead of tearing each other down and attacking each other. And I don't think that that is simping. I don't think that speaking out against people who condemn and demonize women is quote unquote simping. I think that is doing the right thing. You know, I think that we should be about defending black women as a collective. Now, let me be clear. Like, I don't believe that, you know, people should not be held accountable for wrong activity. I don't have any problem with people criticizing dysfunctional behavior if they're criticizing those specific people that are engaged in that activity. But when they use individual examples to condemn a whole race of women, that's when I got a problem. I got a problem with somebody, you know, joking about domestic violence, for instance, you know, like talking about pound cake and all that foolishness, or somebody making all these disparaging remarks about black women being more masculine as a collective and stuff like that because they got melanin in them. I have a problem with that. You know, I have a problem with people calling black women bitches and hoes and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I have a problem with that. And I don't think that that's quote unquote simping. I don't think that that means that I'm being manipulated by some woman or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, I think that people should be held accountable. I don't have any problem with people raising different issues about relationships. If I did, I wouldn't have a panel discussion like this. I wouldn't reach out to like an Obsidian and have discussions and debates if I didn't believe that some of the things that people talk about in the so-called manosphere are valid. So that's what I have to say about that. But I want to shout out the people that have made donations to the channel. Some of the information is not available now, so I can't shout out the individuals. But I wanted to move to the next question, and that's this. Like, during my interview with Obsidian, one thing that we talked about is whether or not the black community can advance without black women. And Obsidian basically took the position that yes, it could.
Yes.
So Obsidian was saying that black men can basically procreate with non-black women, and the black community will continue to thrive. So I'll start by just having Obsidian like summarize his view on that, so that you will hear it from the horse's mouth, and then I want to hear what everybody has to say in response to that.
Well, I mean, the position is very simple. At this point, I mean, a lot of black women are damaged goods. I mean, that's not polite to say, but it's the truth. And for a lot of black men who do want families, I'm not talking about black men like me who, you know, are confirmed bachelors. I'm talking about black men who want families. That's a serious concern. Many black women today, not all, but many black women are already, you know, baby mamas, and all that comes with it. A lot of black men don't want to go into that chewed up, used up, and stalled out and walled out field to plant their seed. They want to, you know, do it in a nice, clean field, and that's harder and harder to find. Not impossible, but harder and harder to find among black women. And so they've struck out and gone elsewhere. Can they build a new black community? I say yes.
Okay, can I ask something?
Yes.
Obsidian, have you ever had sex outside of your marriage? If I may ask a personal
question. Have I ever done what?
Have you had sex? If I may ask a personal question.
Yes.
Have you had sex outside of your marriage?
I've never been married.
Or sex before you intended on making a commitment like marriage?
Oh, that's my policy. That is my official policy. Lashid4U. Get laid now. Talk and chop it up later.
Okay, my point in regards to that is because I'm a single. I was a single mom. I'm still a single mom. My daughter's grown though. Okay.
You're a single mother?
Yes, I am. I had one child.
I thought you had a husband.
I do. I had this child before I got married. Yeah, I had this child at 18.
So are you married now?
Yeah, I'm married now.
All right, so he married a baby mama.
Yes, he did.
Better him than me. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, he married a baby mama. How did I become a baby mama? Because I fornicated. I had sex outside of marriage. And I used supposedly birth control, but still, and a condom, but still got pregnant.
So you are no stranger to a huge splendiferous nut.
Okay, wait. Hold on. I got it. People in here. Okay. Yeah, so I wasn't a virgin at 18. I had sex before. Yes, I did. I had sex before I was prepared to have a baby. Yeah.
So you was getting it in as a teenager.
Come on, Obsidian. Come on, Obsidian. Chill. Just let us make a point.
Oh, he not gonna leave not one word.
Okay, so what I'm saying is in defense of the baby's mamas. Okay.
You was dropping it like it was hot.
Hold on, the baby is basically proof. Because you know what? That's why I became an advocate for abstinence and celibacy, because I used birth control supposedly, and I still got pregnant. Okay, and I ain't gonna say I've been innocent since then. No.
But had you had oral sex, you wouldn't have got pregnant.
Come on, Obsidian.
Go ahead, man. Hold it down, man.
Okay, I'm just see you making me shout over you so they don't hear you. Okay, I got people around me. So what I'm saying is, before we be so critical of that, okay, I'm going to say to you, for those who want to criticize the baby mama, baby daddy, okay, if you are having sex before you are married, or for some of y'all who may not believe in the Bible, if you're having sex before you are ready to have a child, and you are having sex, and I don't even care if it's protected or non-protected, being unprotected is just stupid, but if you are, you cannot criticize. See, that means we're all fornicating. Some of us just got proof of it. Okay. Now, I'm not saying it's stupid to have a baby when there's so much birth control and stuff out there, but you are any more moral, okay, if you are fornicating. So, I'm sorry about that. But I also wanted to say, when people say that Black women are not criticizing, and also I know the Sister Concrete was trying to say something, but I'm gonna tell you this, and I have 4 brothers. I grew up with 4 brothers, and that's also why that may be why I'm very likely to defend Black men and affect it very much so. But I see this with Black women who don't have brothers. But I'm gonna say this: my experience and what I have witnessed, Black women are actually. Y'all claim that Black women don't criticize Black women, we don't take responsibility. I'm gonna tell you, in my dealings, Black women are actually way more critical of other Black women. I know this. Black women are harder on Black females than they are Black males. I know this personally. Okay. I know, like, even when I consider my brothers, and I love my mother, don't get me wrong, but I do feel, and they got married. They had kids after they got married, but I do feel that I had more responsibilities. Black women, I don't care what, are very critical of Black women. Very hard on Black women, okay? If you notice, a Black female is out of the house, like probably by the time she's 18, where a Black male may feel comfortable living with their mother longer. And I'm not just talking about our mothers. This idea that Black women don't say, that is bull. In fact, just like I was saying, okay, we could talk about the talk shows and media and all that. As you had talk shows or whatever y'all claim, around that same time, you had songs. I had mentioned this earlier. Calling women bitches and hoes. How did most females, even myself included, reacted? They ain't talking about me. We didn't jump at Black men and claim that this is how this is a talk on this feminist tip. A lot of us, if it was a funky ass beat, or we can shake our ass to, or whatever. And I know I'm stereotyping against Black women. We went on, and we were not critical as we should have been of this. We were not as critical, but yet Black women, I have witnessed this. Where they are, I've even witnessed this with interracial relationships, where Black female will actually be harder on a swirl. I know even from the message forums, when there would be Black females coming up in there trying to promote the swirl, it would be sisters like me and other sisters. Brothers ain't even have to do shit. That would be jumping on them, attacking, like we ain't having this shit here. Brothers ain't even have to step up to do this. So that was just a point I wanted to make a while back. This idea that black women, we don't criticize black women, we don't wag the finger. That is bullshit. Black women are very hard on black women.
Lashid, for you, I would like to just say, I just like to let you know that if your skills at fellatio is anywhere near the way as much as you talk, I can see the reason why you have a husband.
Okay, let me talk. Lashid,
go ahead, Gab.
Lashid, I think
you sure do know how to work that mouth.
Lashid, I think you made some good points right there, and it looks like you're a person that has moved into the position of taking corrective measures, and I think that's what we need to continue to do. Certain things, again, like I say, man, you're not going to be able to rely on the Obsidian radio show to get all the solutions there. I'll leave Obsidian in a space where it may be effective in its own space. He's carved out a niche, and I understand how people are offended by it. I too am offended by some of it. Some of the shit I think is hilarious, but because none of us dropped out of heaven, man. Some of this shit gonna be funny to us.
He made videos just to me. He made two, in fact.
He did.
See, I'm not one of the popular people now that will pull in views now. So there's need for that. But at that time, I was one of the prominent voices in defending black women, which I just see as defending black relationships overall.
Yeah.
And he decided, and I did not respond. See, I don't go into his chat room and all that. I let him have his space.
Oh, you're welcome anytime, Lashid, for you to join the panel.
That's
you're welcome anytime. You're welcome to come on over anytime.
I hate it, but I don't take that opportunity, which I know is for more views.
Right.
I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah, we're
not a monolith.
We need
is what
more
I was
fresh
trying to
meat
say.
over there. We're running out of victims.
Yeah.
I want to respond really quick, then I stop off.
Go ahead, bro.
Just really quick, to your earlier question, Gab, do we need to make better mating choices? Yes, we do. I do understand what the brother was saying. We need to kind of specify what we should be looking for because, of course, we want competent black males. However, we're not just going to choose competent males who are going to, talk to us and treat us like, pieces of crap. And to be frank, fuck boys are not that term is not specific to Pookie and Ray Rays. I just want to make sure that that's understood.
I agree.
But also made a point to Brother New Possibilities in reference to some of the black women on YouTube seeking kind of like simps or someone to co-sign their behavior. I think that what black women a lot of times are looking for, and even on some of the platforms that I was first introduced to you on, was just impartiality. Like I've seen New Possibilities call out black women. Like he will, I've heard a black woman who I'm not going to name, but she has the opposite rhetoric, like a rhetoric that's opposite to Obsidian's. It's basically opposing, and she kind of goes hard on the brothers. And I've seen New Possibilities kind of
who Rose?
On her.
Who are you talking about?
You know who it is. But anyway, so really quick, in reference to the question that was asked regarding whether or not a black community can be sustained without black women, I think that is absolutely absurd. I think that a black community requires black economics, black businesses, black empowerment, black love.
What is black love? What is that?
This is teach him black love. He needs a lesson on black love. That's what y'all.
I mean, is there such thing as Croatian love or Persian love or Mexican love? I mean, what is black love?
Yeah.
So it also requires black family and black children. So you can't do all of this by dating a white woman.
All right. So what if you're light skinned and you come from two black parents? I mean, are we gonna whip out the brown paper bag and start determining who's black enough? I mean, how does this work?
Let me finish with my thing. So
I'm gonna let you finish your thing.
Even if you said like black women can be replaced. Black women are absolutely irreplaceable. If you marry Susan, she's not gonna want to build up the hood.
Right.
How do you know what she wants to build up? Did you know that Kim Kardashian has been to Africa numerous times? Did you know that?
Hold on, Obsidian. Let her make her point, and then you can.
Susan generally sees the hood in a different way. She doesn't have an affinity towards the hood.
How many times have you been to Africa?
Come on, Obsidian.
To be investing in black-owned businesses.
They're upset because they can't get. A lot of these black men can't get black men.
Yeah, but we can get Becky.
In addition, let me just say
We can get Lourdes.
So,
hold on, let her make her point, please.
If you marry Susan and you procreate with Susan, and little Tommy, you know, goes on to find another Susan or a Becky, your lineage is, you know, there's no proof of your lineage, not like by 2 and 3 generations down the line, because most times, you know, products of interracial marriage, they generally marry white. So you're basically
That's not true. Barack Obama married Michelle.
Oh my gosh, yes they do. So you're basically
Barack Obama married Michelle.
Come on, man. Come on.
He doing that.
African ancestry too. And I think that it's detrimental. There will be no black community without black women. We need black men and black women. We need you all just to.
When the day comes that the average Becky is built like the average sister, it's a wrap.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Rose is what the brothers that have been calling themselves or allowing themselves to be referred to as educated lanes have been doing is to let the community know, no, I don't have to buy into the fact that you're the only woman that's available to me. That is a teaching, and one that I prefer, that I think we should refer to as the teaching, that we should be married to one another. You know, we should be building each other, family, all of that, black love, anything that you can consider that. But that is something that I was taught, and it actually feels quite natural to me. That's the way I want it. But the lack of cooperation that some of these brothers have been getting from sisters, right? This created a space for them, because at first I was saying, nigga, you just want to be with somebody that's not yourself anyway, and invalidating their experiences. So what this invalidation has done for a lot of these brothers, and we can go back and forth about that, is make them say, okay, well, you know, no, I don't have to buy into these contexts. If within those contexts, I'm considered the lane. If I'm considered unwanted in this group, why should I be forced to stay there? These brothers consider themselves as having been tortured by our community, by some kind of system of almost really kind of bullying or keeping them away. If you don't,
Gab, who wasn't made fun of in school though? Like everyone.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, listen, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that we all were affected by it differently. You adjusted. I'm letting you know that there are some people of ours, black folks, that did not adjust well to that.
They need counseling.
Okay.
Well, okay, that's what I'm saying. Is it only counseling? They probably need many things as we do.
One thing we need is that we need fewer black bastards being born in Black America. How about that?
We know this, but you're not.
That don't pertain to me because I'm not producing anyone's children. So
why are you speaking on it then? If it don't pertain to you,
I'm done having kids, so that doesn't pertain.
But that doesn't mean you haven't had a bastard before.
Okay. If
like I said, my children are not up for debate. Their father is in their life.
Again, you brought yourself into the debate. I wasn't talking about you.
And I wasn't even talking to you.
You the barking dog.
Hold on, I don't want this to be a personal type of debate. Like, let's go into. I see Lashid4U is going to make a comment. Let's go to Lashid.
See, that's the thing. Why is it that like she had pointed out how New Possibilities, you know, he has also made videos criticizing, and not just, you know, somebody who I already dislike. I'm not just saying, I've heard him where he has criticized certain black women. Okay, or not just certain black women, but black women. He has made general comments, because we understand when a problem gets too big to individualize, we generalize. We understand it, and we do have some issues as black men and black women. But why is it that I can listen to New Possibilities? Why is it when Louis Farrakhan, and I'm not a Muslim, but why is it when Louis Farrakhan, when he addressed certain issues particularly with women. Why is it I can listen to him and I'm not offended? I'm not offended at all. Why is it?
Because they speak with respect.
Exactly. And also he knows his role as a patriarchal. If you notice, Farrakhan is going to first and foremost address the men, because that's what men do. They know the roles and they understand the roles of men. I'm not even really supposed to be addressing men, to be honest, but he understands that. Okay, and if you notice how the women are so respectful. And I know some can say, well, there are Muslims who beat their women, this, and that. And I'm not a Muslim, but this is something I know. So I'm thinking mainly the Nation of Islam. Okay, I'm thinking the Nation of Islam in particular. I'm not thinking about the whole Islamic world. Okay, but I notice how the women are respectful. They are willing. And then who is it? One brother said that it's a lot that the women do behind the scenes that we don't even realize. But they say respectful, supportive. And when he says something in criticism of Black women, I don't even take it as criticism. I can hear him. I can hear what he's saying, how we shouldn't be wearing this, and that, or acting this, and that. I can hear a brother like that, because when the concern is sincere. And and also the brother, he was just saying, I'm not as familiar with all the names on the panel, but he was just saying how, and I'm not trying to tit for tat, but understand this. I understand that there are brothers who are hurt. My brother was divorced. I had he's remarried, but he had a horrible divorce. And this was back in the, it drove him. He had eventually even went into drugs, losing custody of his kids. And because of what his ex-wife had did, lying on him and shit, and it just really sent him into a horrible spiral. And so when I saw them ads that were talking about men's rights, I was all for that. And especially considering what he went through, not getting back attached with his child until she was, So I do understand, even though I can't fully understand because I'm not a father, I know even as a mother what I can't imagine what that was like. And but the thing is also, like I've told my brother when we had moved to the suburbs for a minute, the experience for a little Black girl is different. I've talked about this in my vids, where it was this Black boy. He used to taunt me so horribly with these white kids calling me black ass, not just teasing me as a person teases a girl, teasing me as a Black female, calling me black ass. Now he was dark skinned himself, but seriously, he would be with these white kids calling me black ass, seriously mess with my self-esteem. Little boys trying to start fights with me because I was good at sports. What maybe they were jealous because I was a fast runner and stuff, but little boys starting fights with me. Maybe one had a crush on, I don't know. And also I'm a person, and I'm not trying to feel sorry for myself if somebody tried to claim, but I have been a victim of rape, okay, and sexual, I have an abuse, okay. Not in my immediate family. Okay, I love my brothers, but and it was when I was away from these brothers when this stuff happened, away from the protection of the Black men who protected me. So the thing is, I have not came up in here feeling the need to take this shit out on all Black men. So if I have been able to do that, I see this as shit bad men do. White men rape women. White men are the masters of misogyny. Okay, they are the fathers of it. And you can say I'm generalizing, but so be it. So if I don't, are some of y'all like you, Obsidian, if I am strong enough, and I ain't with all that whole strong Black woman rhetoric, okay? If I can be able to get through that and feel as if this is something, a Black man problem or Black, and I do know we got issues with these things, but why are you saying that I am stronger than you? Are you saying that, and why do you give Black women, I'm talking Obsidian though, why do you, and those who also give Black women so much power when you're saying, well, it's Black women this, and it's Black women the downfall of the community, it's Black women, if Black women do this, you want to be seen as a patriarchal leader. You want us to respect you as a patriarch. But
I just want you bent over my couch.
It's a weak position to speak from. It really is.
Yeah, I think the fact that you were able to adjust from your life's experience is excellent. But a lot of people have not adjusted well, and they need whatever help they get. But what I'm saying is, at first I was ignoring them. I was like, man, look here, get over it, nigga, stop crying, right? But over time, I was like, these brothers have a right to be heard, and they're, so this is a place for them to get their pain out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
This is
but
not
Brother Gab,
this is not the healthy way. No, listen to what I'm saying first. This is not the most healthy way. I definitely agree. But I was having a conversation with brother BGS from the Manosphere, and he was saying that this way for them to get it out in a form of communication, get out all of the outbursts and whatnot, is a way that they've been addressing it so that it doesn't turn into a more violent situation. This is where they can talk it out. So in the Manosphere, because y'all was talking about why they addressing women, actually the Manosphere is actually addressing men. Women
but
just
there's
found their
very
way, their place.
few
Okay, go ahead.
solution-based conversations regarding it, and it
I
can be
disagree.
unhealthy. And when you're talking, having these circular conversations, like when you know, after 10 and 15 years, maybe just venting about it isn't enough, which
If
that
you're
wasn't
just
a
watching
dig, but that's
Obsidian,
why I
that's
see.
true. If you,
Yeah, and I've branched out.
but he's
So
only been doing this particular thing, I think, 4 years. So I don't know about the 10 or 15. But
no, I
the
wasn't.
other parts of there are other parts of the Manosphere that speak have approaches that are a little more healthy.
Yeah, and I've started
I'm
to.
from a total, listen, I'm not
Mhm.
Manosphere, so that everybody on the panel understands. My background into Black consciousness is the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
So you know, my position is different, but I had to pull back in order to listen, and I learned that from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So that we can hear. Now, do I approve of the methods going on, and would I try to employ that? No, but I am conscious that there are other things. The universe is big, and methodologies are going to vary. I'm trying to see the truth in what is being put out here, and then we can work on can we modify the method. And in doing that with grown people, there's going to be negotiation. Now, what I'm hearing is that people coming to the Manosphere are so appalled and emotional about the how they're doing it that they don't have any negotiation room in them about what the Manosphere pushes out because of the manner. And
No,
you
I
know,
respect that.
go ahead. And yeah,
I
and
respect that.
that's all I'm
And
doing. I
just
don't.
to your
Yeah.
point,
Mm-hmm.
I respect that. And just to your point, like I personally, you know, I want to go back really quick and address something. Like there's nothing that could be said about my children and how they were conceived to make me feel bad about it. I have an extremely healthy relationship. I chose a great father for my children. He is a great father to them. So bastards are not like I'm not online complaining about Black men because I have beautiful Black men who are strong and who are examples of what Black men should be in my everyday life. So that's not an issue to me. But to your specific point, Brother Gab, in reference to the there being other channels in the Manosphere, I've started to branch out, and I've found some of those that are, you know, they do have some solution-based conversation, and basically just the channels that are promoting, you know, self-improvement and things of that nature. And I think those are conversations that, you know, I would like to listen to and or, you know, take a part in because there's healthier dialogue. They're not, you know, necessarily berating the folks and always on the women. They're focused more on men and what they you know, whatever their situations are.
So that makes sense. I mean, what woman wants to be told that they suck and they need to do better? I mean, isn't it better to listen to Black men divert attention away from Black female fuckery? So I don't blame you. If I was a woman, I want to do the same thing too. Who wants to be told that they got to, you know, get their act together?
Daily. So that's I mean, and find that Brother Gab, you know, tells women the same thing, and so does New Possibilities. But going back to Lashid's point, they do it in a respectful way.
See, why are you laughing over her? See, if you're talking over and laughing over, that means you're trying to help out with people.
Does anybody believe that?
What the hell are you laughing at, man? Fuck is you laughing at?
Play down what the sister's saying. And I didn't know that we can quickly forget what it is that she just said.
So let me ask y'all a real technical question. I'm having like a problem with the live stream. For some reason, like on the actual video footage, it just shows my image. But while I'm watching it on the Hangout, I see everyone's image coming up as they talk. So what is it that I need to do to correct that problem?
Tap your icon. You got your icon selected, unselected.
Yeah, it wasn't select. Now I have it selected
Oh, okay.
right now. Now I have it unselected. So let me see if it's coming up.
I
It's
don't have
still doing the same thing for some reason.
I see it moving around. When Lashid just talked, I saw her face.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for some reason I see it in the Hangout, but when I look at it live on YouTube, it just has my image up. So I hope that people are able to bear with that technical difficulty. I mean, everyone's able to hear your voices. So, so I hope that people still rock with this, because I think that this has been a great discussion, hearing the different viewpoints and everything. So I wanted to ask Obsidian about something, like one of the points that you make. One thing that you talk about a lot is like how a lot of the responsibility in terms of how the community has turned out is on the Black woman, in terms of like what you call bastardy, children out of wedlock and all that kind of stuff. You place the burden primarily on Black women. Why do you do so? And what's everyone else's response to that?
Yeah, I want to answer that question, but before I do, I'd like to just jump back and address Concrete Rose and some people in the chat room. See, here's the problem I have with Black men need to talk about improving themselves. What we're saying, if we accept that argument, is that we're okay with out-of-wedlock births. We're good with it. That's what we're saying.
I said solution-focused conversation. So even if it's healthy dialogue with women, I just think it needs to be solution-focused. I think you should call out, BFF.
All right. So, but the overwhelming numbers of Black children now born out of wedlock is part of Black female fuckery. So if to say Black men should focus on self-improvement, what we're saying is we, both Black men and Black women, are okay with nearly 80% of all Black children today are born out of wedlock. That is what we're saying.
No, self-improvement can help you to ensure that you're doing what's right, so that you're not in a situation where I'm saying men, so you would be telling the brothers to do, take precautions so that they're not in a situation that they're.
But we're already there. 51% of Black men are single and childless. Black men use condoms more than any other group. When you start segregating or getting granular among Black men, and here I cite National Institutes for Health, Centers for Disease Control. There's only about 27% of Black men that have children out of wedlock. The distinct minority.
A large amount, though. That's still a large amount.
But it's smaller. It's smaller than the Black women who have children out of wedlock. Like basically half the number of Black women who do. So my point is, again, if we're telling the non-select Black men to work on themselves, what we're really saying is we're okay with the out of wedlock birth rate.
Wait.
Because that's more important than talking about the out of wedlock birth rate.
Do you think that means that Black women are having more irresponsible sex?
Yes.
You honestly think that?
Yes.
It seems as if there is this one man that's going around the country impregnating women.
No, but there's a smaller group of Black men doing it.
Also, if we want to talk about these,
Perk the Squirt has damn near half a dozen baby mamas.
Oh, there's this one guy that's just going.
No,
there's
several one guys. There's several one guys.
If we are to go by these CDC studies, and I take their facts, I take their so-called facts to debunk the lies that they tell. Okay, like I did a video on this claim that 48% of Black women have herpes. And I broke that shit down. Okay. I think that we're taking a lot of shit and running with it. Okay. The problem with out of wedlock pregnancies, that is, and see, that's the thing I'm wondering, is your question is rhetorical. That is a problem of Black women and Black men. Okay.
Yes. What Black men?
True.
What Black men? It ain't the Black men you don't want to fuck.
30% is still a high number.
Yes. And it's a high number of Black men who ain't shit. That's the
same
problem.
the same black men on your panel.
If you Obsidian are having, this is the problem. It's not the problem that black women are having more sex than black men. This, and that.
I didn't say that.
This is the problem. This is, you know, I mean, if we're both having sex irresponsibly.
I didn't say that.
No, if black men and black women on an equal tip, if we are both having sex before
I didn't say that.
We are mentally, physically, economically, financially prepared to take care of.
No, we're not, because black women don't select black men that way. Black women select, well, is he sexy? Is he charismatic? Does he have a mouthpiece? Is he got that good wood? That's what black women select for. And then when they get knocked up and have babies, now all of a sudden they need a good, responsible black man. Bitch, you chose wrong.
That's how all women select.
Why do you feel this need to talk over people?
Because you're talking crazy.
Come on, Obsidian. You got to fall back and let people make their point.
You got to take your meds.
Hey, Obsidian, you got to fall back and just let people make their point and then respond, okay?
The problem with the and first of all, you have to address the men as men. Okay, this isn't feminist talk. That's actually the traditional woman. That's how the traditional woman is, because she sees the man as the leader. If they're
how are you going to be traditional when you were dropping it like you're hot?
You got to quit interrupting.
Hold on. I got a deep voice. Period. Somebody. Okay, I got a deep voice. Period. There's reasons for that. Okay, I'm a woman. But anyways,
you right.
You see how he's making everything a joke, and I got.
That's why you can't have serious dialogue.
I like jokes, but we are supposed to be trying to talk solutions at least a little bit. And like I said, the problem with, but see, I'm not gonna go into preaching. I guess I ain't gonna go into taking them out of church. But let's keep it real. The problems with it's about morality. Period. Between with black men and black women. Okay, it's about morality. We don't value marriage. We don't, that's period. Okay, and this is also with the influence of media propaganda. We don't see family as we used to. Let's just keep it real. We want to blame the church, but we don't see family as we used to. And if you're having sex, okay, I'm just talking to second person. If you are having sex and you are not prepared to take care of a child, if you're not mentally, physically, emotionally, financially prepared to take care of a child, if you're not married, there is not a union, okay, then you are no better than the Pookie, Ray Ray, Shaniqua, or whoever. Okay, you are
exactly.
That should be the emphasis. Now, Obsidian, if your channel is focusing on this, if your channel is, and I need to focus more on that myself instead of on this defense mode. But why? It's like I don't even get a chance to get to that tip. But I'm not gonna blame y'all for it because I have my own responsibility. That is what we need to be focusing on. Now I know that ain't gonna pull no views, okay? But the thing that's sad to say because all that people want to see is black men, black women at each other's throats. But that needs to be more of the focus, morality, instead of who blame who and this, and that.
All right, so I wanted to go to.
She's got to up the dose.
Yeah, so I wanted to go to like Obsidian's point. So you're saying basically that the difference in numbers between the black men and women is because there's a smaller group of black men that are impregnating multiple black women. Is that your point in terms of statistics? And you're basically saying that black women bear like a big responsibility with that, like that they bear the burden of that, even though it's the small group of black men that are going around, I mean, relatively smaller group of black men that's going around impregnating all these multiple women. Why not put the burden on those black men as well that are going around impregnating these black women and not, being married to them or taking care of them?
I agree they should.
So why do you emphasize the women?
Because it's the black women who are complaining.
You should. You talking to the everyday brother.
They're not the black men I'm talking to.
They're not?
They're not part of my target audience. No.
How do you know who it is?
Because I know every last supporter, friend and supporter of Obsidian Radio on a first name basis.
No, but how do you know that the men that are supporting you aren't the same ones that are
Because I know every last one of them on a first name basis.
And a lot of the ones you have on your panel have children out of wedlock.
And you didn't say anything about the panel. I said my supporters.
Aren't they your supporters, your panelists?
No, I'm talking about people who actually pay for the show.
Okay, I was talking about your entire audience, your target audience.
No, because you're part of my target audience.
Not just your paying supporters.
I'm talking about paying supporters.
But your voice reaches people who are also impregnating women.
I know my voice reaches you too.
Okay, you don't have to worry about that with me. However, my point is that your voice reaches.
My voice be reaching all over the place.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, so basically you're saying that these women should be held accountable because instead of selecting people like you, they're allowing these Pookies and Ray Rays to like impregnate, them and all these other women and stuff like that.
That's right.
You're saying like instead of
you don't want a family. You said you don't want marriage and a family and children.
Right. You don't have to worry about me impregnating you.
How would you be a better choice than a Pookie or Ray?
Because you wouldn't be pregnant, baby mama or bastards complaining to anybody who will listen that black man that knocked you up is a dusty beta male.
Oh, because you would use protection.
Not only would I use protection, but I'd be sure that we will be having lots of fellatio happening there.
I think that time in his life has passed anyway.
In whose life? What time in whose life?
Yours.
No, I'm in my prime.
Forgive me for laughing. And I just want to address the way
I'm busting more nuts per hour than the law allow.
Can I address someone in the chat room? They were saying women get sex. Look, I remember. Okay, men also benefit from these things. I remember the time brothers is the first of the month. What happened to that? Okay, y'all talking about. Do y'all understand the Welfare Reform Act, as I've spoken of 1996? A lot of that is what's causing this frustration against black men. When more black women, and I'm not saying that depending on government assistance, which ain't really a black woman thing, but I'm not saying that is a good thing for us to be in a state of dependency, although we are regardless in being in the land of our captivity still. But do you understand the impact of the Welfare Reform Act when more black women went out into the workplace? More of us are working by percent, okay, not by number, but by percent than any other group of women. Black women working outside the home. 1 minute we're codependent, the next we're too independent, okay? But half a Lord. Okay, these are that's not just excuses. I can back up my claims. I back up my claims. I usually do. Okay,
well, we know you can back it up.
Hold on.
We know you can back that thing up.
Man.
The Welfare Reform Act. Do you understand why y'all be talking about? And this is something I wanted to talk about anyway. Y'all talking about welfare, this, and that. Do you understand when because a lot of that shit was cut off anyway. Do you understand when the Welfare Reform Act was passed in 1996? Enforcing stricter child support laws, and more women went into the workplace, which added to the unemployment rate of black men. Okay, that is why today you have more black women with degrees and stuff, and you also have angrier black women, because a lot of y'all feel as if it's a privilege that a black woman would be more likely to be hired than a black man. That is not a damn privilege when you know that you got to get out there and bust your ass because they won't hire your man.
Exactly.
That is not a privilege. That's stressful. That is what also contributed to the obesity rate. There has been studies that shown that housewives.
What contributed to the obesity rate is black women not backing away from the goddamn table.
First of all, what a main thing. I'm sorry, but I remember when they was making soul food and all that stuff, and there wasn't people eating Wonder Bread and that, yet you still had slim, skinny black women. Okay, I remember that. Okay, a time when soul food cooking, and yet black women were still, you didn't have the obesity rate. And yes, the obesity rate, and I'll include myself, it is out of control. You are right when you say that with black women, and I'm not one who glamorizes this idea of the big and beautiful. No, anything that is unhealthy is not beautiful. I'm not saying that thickness, some women are naturally made a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And it's about also how you made up, not just how much you weigh. Okay?
Yeah, they're made up like a Peterbilt truck.
Anyways, a lot of this has to do with the birth controls, because that's why the birth controls have very much, that's the initial thing put weight on me. These birth controls, that many would, because we think that the birth controls is the better way to go than just practicing abstinence and celibacy. That has led to it. Also, the fact that being that many women, like when I was working, I was going to school, it was always the same at the same time. You're not thinking about coming home and cooking a dinner. You want to grab a pizza. I'm tired and shit. And this is why you got so many Black women who are cranky today. Because so many are busting their asses outside the home, and you don't have that many Black women like how it used to be. Hey, baby, how you doing? You don't have that as much. This is what contributes. If Black women didn't have to go to the white man for jobs or welfare, I guarantee.
What does this have to do with it?
No, I'm just responding to somebody in the chat room. Like, if they were to cut off all that shit right now, I'm gonna
cue the X-Files theme.
First, for Black men,
truth is out there.
If Black men are not providing for Black women, if they happen, and that's how it should be, if they cut all this shit off right now, it is going to make it worse. Because Black women, we are survivors. And what's going to happen? And we know that they discriminate against Black men. You know that they are going to hire a Black woman before they hire a Black man. That's just true, because we know to destroy a family, you got to start with the head of the family, the Black man. You have to chop off the head. So yes, we know that they are going to discriminate against Black men, and not so. It's going to make for more competition, and that's exactly what happened after 1996. More women are going to be, and we ain't talking about just Black women. You're going to have competition from white women, Latino women, Asian women. And at the same time, these jobs are going to foreigners that Black men used to do. And then they have to, if a woman do want government assistance, she has no choice, and sometimes she has no choice but to apply. She has no choice but to give information on the father. So see, back in the day, Black women, before they could choose to pursue child support. And and many of them, and most did not. I did not pursue child support. And I wasn't made to do it, But now, if a woman
goodness,
assistance, if she wants some assistance, and I'm not saying I necessarily did the right thing, that was just my choice. If she wants some assistance, and I used to be a case manager, she has to give information on the child's father. I know y'all, and we all know too. Part of this is to set up, to keep us dead and men in prison. This not. I'm not saying that a man shouldn't pay on child support. I'm not saying that at all, or be responsible. But this is this is one of the reasons why you see a lot of this Black men bashing Black women stuff, this whole issue with the child support. And the bottom line is we have to remember our roles. We need to remember our roles. Black men protect, provide as a patriarch. Black women support, nurture.
You left out the other P.
What's the other P, huh?
The P is free.
Woo! Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I try.
I'm sorry. Obsidian is crazy. All right, I see that Psycho wants to join, so I'm going to send him a link.
Where is Mr. Legit?
Yeah, hopefully she'll join. I asked her if she wanted to join.
Sisters, we need some help up in there also. Not saying that we ain't holding it down. I ain't saying we ain't.
Yeah. All right, hold on one second. So Hollow Point, do you have anything to add while we wait? Let me try to find Psycho. I should have it. Just bear with me one second, y'all. I'm sending Psycho the link.
So does it sound like we're getting anywhere?
I hope and pray.
I think we are. We're laughing and we're not mad and nobody's cussing. So I think, folks are being heard. I think which means that the absurdities of the Obsidian, if y'all don't know, I coined the term Obsidian, I think. Or did that come before Obsidian?
I have no idea.
Yeah, so I coined the term absurdian. So through his absurdities, right, there's some effectiveness in having this kind of conversation, I think, because we still like to laugh, you know, and yeah, we don't like to be disrespected, but somehow he's found some kind of blend here that his ass can still remain on people's panels and do this shit.
Oh, people, I can't even imagine in his words, though. I can't even imagine.
He's probably the only one that can get away with this shit.
Yeah, okay. Woo.
Yeah, so Obsidian, like, I mean, we talked about this during our interview, but I wanted to just ask it for this panel, like, why are you concerned about these women bad-mouthing the Pookies and Ray Rays if you're not Pookie and Ray Ray? I mean, just like, you know, Tommy, for instance, will say, well, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. And you hear a lot of these other people in the Manosphere say the same. Like, and a lot of these women, they do make disclaimers. They do say, well, I'm not talking about all black men. I'm talking about this select group of black men that do X, Y, and Z. Like, so why are you so outraged about these women complaining about Pookie and Ray Ray? And what do y'all have to say about that?
Because I've addressed this numerous times over the past 4 years, because black women lump in all men together, hence black men ain't shit. They don't say Pookie and Ray Ray or fuck boys or whatever. They say black men ain't shit. And that's where I take issue. I take particular umbrage to that.
Okay. And you're saying most of them say that? Like, because I've seen situations where they do make disclaimers. Like they say, well, I'm only talking about this type of black man. You know, I'm not talking about all black men. But you're saying that just overall, they lump all black men in the same bag. And then they want to make all black men responsible for what these bad black men are doing.
Right.
Well, I've heard also, and he's right. That is a statement. And I've also heard bitches ain't shit, but hoes and tricks. I mean, but of course they ain't talking about black women. You know, grab a stupid bitch by a nappy ass weed. But and yes, bitches ain't shit. I'm gonna be honest. That was a response to Roxanne Shantae's brothers ain't shit. A lot of people don't know that. See, I can be honest. But you know, we can go back to there was a song I remember playing it for y'all. It was a blues, or it was a chain gang song, you know, or a prison song. Or, you know, brothers would be singing it. It was actually a song. I don't want no jet black woman. She too mean. She too mean. So I mean, if we, you know, and check out my video series, y'all. Mean songs. I talk about songs like Orange Juice Jones, Ain't Nothing Going On, and The Rain, and Ain't Nothing Going On But the Rent. But see, I try to balance it out. So, and why am I saying this? It's not to say that y'all started it, we started. What I'm saying is we can't, I'm trying to cancel it out, okay? I'm trying to cancel it out. Black man ain't worse than a black woman. I'm trying to just so y'all could see. So we can say, okay, we both been wrong.
Okay, I see that Psycho has joined the panel. So I want to see what Psycho has to add to the discussion. So Psycho, you have anything to add to the commentary?
Oh, peace. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Psycho? Peace, bro.
Peace to the panel. What's going on? Yeah, I was just you know, listening, and you know, me and Obsidian had these conversations a couple of times, and I take a little bit of issue with him saying that these women are only complaining about the Pookies and the Ray Ray. I find that to be a little bit disingenuous, because a lot of these women, you know, like I was saying in the chat, when they discussing like child support and they're complaining about child support, 9 times out of 10, they're not talking about Pookie and Ray Ray. Pookie and Ray Ray only pay about $3 to $6 a week child support, while the lanes are paying about maybe up to $200 a week, maybe more. So they're not the ones. They're not complaining about Pookie and Ray Ray not paying child support. They're complaining about the lanes who actually got the money to pay the child support. So like this whole thing about women are only complaining about Pookie and Ray Ray, that depends on what you're talking about. Like, so like this, like some of these arguments are just disingenuous. It's too much of a gray area to put everything in one box.
Well, my question to that, my response to that would be this: how can the guys be lame on one side, read incel, not getting laid, having trouble with women, but at the same time on the other side, not only be baby daddies, but paying the lion's share of child support? Please explain this to me.
Yeah, break that down one more time.
How is it possible to say on one side the lames are lame because they don't get no pussy, they mad, they jealous of the Pookies and Ray Rays on one side, and then on the other side say they're baby daddies too, and not only are they baby daddies, but they're paying the lion's share of the child support?
Well, the lanes still getting pussy. They just not getting the pussy from the girls that they want to get pussy from. That's what y'all complaints are, right? Y'all want the high quality, quote unquote, high quality women, and those are the ones that the Pookies and Ray Rays are impregnating all over the place. While y'all are stuck with the women y'all don't want, or not physically attracted to, or y'all playing the cleanup man for Pookie and Ray Ray. Isn't that your argument?
Right, but see, somebody's got to mute their line. Because we're getting real bad feedback. Is either Psycho or
Psycho, you should mute your audio.
Somebody's got to mute their YouTube line.
Yeah, I think that's Psycho.
Okay. The problem here is, even if you buy that premise, why would you get with a woman you don't want, knock her up, and then have to pay child support? That doesn't track with the empirical data that we have from the CDC. Again, 51% of black men are single and childless. Not only that, but why would black women complain about black men who are paying child support? That's not what they're saying. They're complaining about men who don't have resources, who aren't living up to their responsibilities. It doesn't make sense. And that's what I'm responding to. I'm responding to black women.
When it comes to child support, this whole argument over that, even though I do feel the way that they have this set up where you have men being imprisoned, I do feel it's unfair and imbalanced. And this is not to say that black men shouldn't be paying child support, but I'm gonna tell you this, and like I said, being at that age that I am, black women, when they had the choice to pursue child support, a lot of black females I know let a lot slide with that. And like I've also said, black women are the most loyal women on this planet. And there's females who didn't like that I said that because they thought that was a mammy mule comment. But this is true. This is definitely true. And black women, I know from my generation and stuff, there was a lot of black females who have been, and these weren't sluts necessarily, but they wouldn't even consider pursuing child support. And, it's just now, if you want some sort of assistance, you have no choice if you want some sort of government assistance. I don't like the way that they're doing it. And I know that they've changed these laws since 96, not because they care about black children or black mothers. I know that this is, for one, it's another way to imprison. But, like I said, I just think we need to get back to family values and morality.
No, I would agree with you there. But there's a new climate in the black audience with respect to morality, and that somehow connects to religious orders, and the black community in big numbers, at least on YouTube, are also moving away from those sorts of orders. I think that could be pretty flawed. But the arguments on the other side on YouTube are too big for me to handle. So I actually have to even translate my talking points so that they are digestible by the audience, so that they don't think I'm trying to shove a religion back at many of them. And I also think there's a climate of some of the people where they actually are okay with the religion, but because it's not a popular thing, they deny it. They deny the power, you know, of these texts or these ways of life. So, you know, I support you in it. It's just that the climate is changing when it comes to morality, the discussions on morality and whatnot. I think we're making a big mistake not to address these codes of conduct.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I was trying to address.
Oh, wait a
I
minute,
can
you're real
barely hear
low.
him. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We can't hear you, Psycho.
Okay. Give me a sec. I'll drop it.
Let me make sure you're turned up. Let me make sure everybody's turned up loud. And you're on mute right now, Psycho. Oh, I guess he's coming back in. Yeah, so I'm only going to go a few more minutes long. I want to hear from Psycho, and then we're going to close out with closing remarks. So, Psycho, what were you trying to say?
Can y'all hear me now? Am I still low?
We can barely hear you. Your audio is very low.
All right. I'll be right back.
All right, so hopefully he'll be able to chime in with his last remarks. But did anyone else have anything else to say about this whole subject before we close out? You know, I want to thank you all for joining this live stream. You know, it's been a great dialogue. Do you all have any last comments to make on this subject?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for tuning in, Obsidian. You know, I appreciate your commentary, even though we disagree on a lot. So I'm going to give Psycho a few minutes to rejoin us because I know that he had some points that he would like to make. And shout out to everybody in the chat room for joining this discussion. It's been real positive, you know, even though we disagreed on several points. So let's see. One thing that I wanted to address with you, Obsidian, is this whole entitlement mentality. So basically, you've made the point that men are judged based on being effective, and you basically suggested that effective men should be entitled to the most beautiful women in the community.
Entitlement.
Well, you basically said that they should be judged by that, and you said that there's nothing wrong with shaming women who don't choose effective men, right?
I didn't say that. I said shaming women who fuck their lives up and then demand other people fix it.
All right, but you don't have any problem with shaming women for choosing Pookie and Ray Ray, right? Excuse me?
Say that again?
Yeah, I said you don't have any problem shaming black women for deciding to be with Pookie and Ray Ray, right?
Yeah, if those type of black women are going to attempt to shame and cajole and guilt trip me into doing for the community, then I think a little shaming on the other side is in order.
Why is everything tit for tat with you?
Because that's how I like to get down. Ooh, baby, I like it raw.
What makes you
I like
think
it raw?
Right, you know what? Black Family Morality, and I invite y'all to check out the videos I make that's Bible related. I ain't no saint.
Will do.
All right, thank you.
Will do. The tick for tack question, right? You know, when you do something, you put yourself in a position to be tick for tatted, man. And even though I understand that there are a group of us that are going to have to rise above that, I also recognize that there are a group of us that are not going to play that with those set of rules.
Yeah, so with that, I'm going to have to close this out. I thought I would have time for Psycho to rejoin us, but, you know, I want to thank you all for your time and for your commentary. You know, I want to thank everybody in the chat room. I encourage people to check out everyone's channels, check out Gab Talk Media, check out Lashid4U and Obsidian, and the brother Hollow Point and the sister Concrete Rose. You know, I think that they all provided great commentary. So again, I want to thank everybody. Please rate, comment, subscribe, like the video, share the video, hit the notification bell so that you will know when I post videos and when I go live. So with that, I'm going to say peace to everybody on the panel and peace to everybody in the chat room.
Thank you. Peace. Thank you.
Thanks, New Possibilities. Everyone.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Appreciate it, bro.
Lashid, come on over to my channel, Lashid4U. We need some fresh meat.
You going?
I'm good. You good.
All right.
Peace, man.
To the left. Okay, I gotta check out the channel. Y'all.
Thank you.